carry Annie.
Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Thursday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, hot topics, pop culture, all the good messy stuff that we normally talk about on this show. So that's definitely a show for you. Stick around because we got a lot of tea to spill today, including, I got to scroll on. We got some Scream 7 news. So one of the writers of Scream 7 is speaking out about the movie, on why Sidney returns, the time jump, and how they handle the core force. We're going to break that story down from Comic Book. Shout out to them. We're going to talk American Music Award ratings because we did mention that the other day, but the numbers came out yesterday, so we'll talk a bit about that. Plus, Chad, we got to talk about this story going around from the Hollywood Reporter saying that Fifth Harmony is set to reunite without Camila Cabello. So we'll talk about that. Plus, and just like that drops today, and we need to talk about like how does season 3 compare to the previous 2. So we'll talk about that. We got some good news from Monique. Apparently, she and her eldest son, who she was beefing with after the whole Club Shay Shay interview, they patched things up. They made amends. So that's some good news on the family front. We'll talk about that. Audra McDonald is speaking out about Patti LuPone's little shade that she threw towards her in that New York article. I do have the clip, courtesy of when she just sat down and did an interview with Gayle King. So we'll talk about that. Smokey Robinson is suing his R-word accuser for defamation and said it was elder abuse. Ryan Phillippe is opening up about playing a homosexual when he was on One Life to Live. So we'll talk about that. We got to talk about that old man-looking bitch over there at the Breakfast Club, Jess. He not Larious. We got to talk about her because apparently she likes trying to find ways to come at the trans community and they ain't even do nothing to her. Candyman voice sounding ass. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Timmy Bandsome is speaking out and saying that he done lied on BossMan DLow. So we gotta talk about that story because whenever we talk about stuff, we gotta also get full circle with it. When the news comes out, we gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about one of the pit crew over there at Drag Race apparently has passed away. The King of Drag cast has been revealed. It's funny, we talked about King of Drag yesterday with Tenderoni, and then today the actual cast drops, courtesy of Entertainment Weekly. So we're going to break that down because, I'm all for supporting all aspects of drag, not just, Drag Race drag. And we got the latest on Austin Wolf. Don't be surprised if I actually sit up here and tell y'all the same damn story. But yeah, we got Austin Wolf tea, and it's the same old tea from before, but we'll entertain it. But yeah, so that's it in regards to that. But before we get to those topics, if you can please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Once the live stream is over, I will be putting in timestamps so that way those who don't want to sit through all the banter we do normally every time we do a live show, you don't want to sit through the banter, you can just fast forward and click on to whatever topic you want to check out and then just leave your comments and all other stuff below. Also leave your comments below. I also encourage that from a lot of the people who watch the playback. You can leave your comments and stuff down there as well. Just be respectful. All right. Okay, so then let me hit my banner. I do see we have a comment already. I'll get to that after our first topic. So wait, hold on, because I just realized I got stuff open. I just had my YouTube open again, so now I would have got like playback, and y'all probably would have heard it. But anyway, so let's get into our first topic, and that is this whole Scream 70. So I was not expecting us to be hearing stuff this early in regards of what's going on with Scream. With all the stuff that was going on with that, with Melissa Barrera being fired because she, the pro-Palestine stuff, and then, Spyglass decided to go in on her and set an example. And then Jenna Ortega claiming that, she decided to drop out because of scheduling conflicts. But then people are saying that, yeah, I guess she stood in solidarity in so many ways with Melissa Barrera, so she's not coming back. But then post those movies, a lot of the films that she's done hasn't really done well. That, what is it called? Hurry Up Tomorrow with The Weeknd, came and went. like a wet fart. Then she did that unicorn movie, which I heard is really good, but it didn't do really well. Yes, Beetlejuice did well, and we're getting a Beetlejuice, which is the third installment. I'm sure that's what they're gonna call it. I mean, you'd be dumb not to call it that. So she's, Beetlejuice was successful, but the reason why that was successful is because that's a pre-existing IP. People were gonna come see that film because it was Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder, and then all the other people that they had up in there. And then, of course, Jenna Ortega definitely fits in that whole mold. So it made sense to kind of slither her in somewhere to play the daughter of Lydia Dietz. So hence where sidebar where Lydia Boho Collins got her name from. Lydia from Lydia, Lydia, her name is from Lydia in Beetlejuice. But anyway, so with all that other stuff, and then we had Christopher Landon, who was dragged because he jumped in on a situation, was trying to make the movie. This was his dream project, but then people started threatening his kids and all this other stuff. So he dropped out and went off and made Drop, which I heard was really good. I still haven't gotten around to watching that movie yet. I definitely want to check it out. Like I'd want to rent it, but I feel like by the time I get around to renting that movie, it's probably going to end up like all these other films, and it's going to be on streaming by like next week, and I'm going to be mad because I'm like, I basically could have just waited a little bit instead of spending the money. So there was that. But then it all came full circle. Drama came, after they couldn't get all the other people back, they did two of the core four to show up in the new film. Guy Busick did speak on, like, there's a way that they were able to bring them in and which one of the characters helped bring those two out of the four back into the fold. He also spoke about Sidney Prescott and a whole bunch of other things because, of course, Neve Campbell was not a part of the franchise. Y'all sidelined her in part 5. You didn't want to give her what she was owed financially in Scream 6, hence why she wasn't in the movie. And now that things didn't go the way that you wanted to go because of the way that Spyglass reacted, I felt like that out of sheer desperation, they ran over there and was like, okay, now what do we do? We're panicking. We need to come up with a story. Sidney, even though they kind of pretty much said that she had her happy ending in Scream 6. But it was just like, okay, so if she had her happy ending, then why are y'all revisiting her instead of starting over? And I think maybe they were just scared that, okay, we start over with a brand new cast of characters, especially when we just got the ball rolling with people getting used to this core 4, that people won't come see this movie. So let's jump into familiar territory and let's go revisit Sidney Prescott and what she's got going on over there. So that's my overall theory on the situation with her, and I'm sticking to it. So, I mean, y'all don't have to agree with me, but that's just how I feel. So, I believe Guy Busick, who is one of the writers, well, he wrote it with James Vanderbilt. Like, they both wrote like 5 and 6. But now this one, I think Guy Busick kind of did this one by himself, and then oh my god, I just forgot his name and I just said it. So it was like, but then they came with James Vanderbilt. He came up with the story with him, but I think Guy Busick was more or less the writer. But I think this whole interview stemmed about because Guy Busick actually co-wrote Final Destination Bloodlines. And it's funny how I enjoyed Final Destination Bloodlines, but I did not really like his writing in Scream 5 and 6. I just felt like because of as being a hardcore Scream fan, I just feel like, I don't have no problem with y'all trying to come in and try new things with trying to zhuzh up the franchise, but this didn't feel very Scream-esque to me. I just felt like there was just, I think maybe, and I think this is what it was. I was disappointed a lot in the third act. The third act in Scream 5 was like, it's all right. Although I love Mikey Madison. She ate up that role. Scream 6, that whole third act irritated my entire spirit. So, hopefully we've gotten better with this. But anyway, let's get into the story. So I just want to set all that up before we get into everything else, in case you need a reminder. So now it says the original Scream 7 with Barrera and Ortega was a completely different thing. This is what Guy Busick tells Comic Book in an interview pegged to Final Destination Bloodlines, which he also co-wrote. He said, we weren't able to use what we had in the previous iteration of this one. We just had to start from scratch, which was a bummer. He also went on to say, we were excited about what we had for that movie. We wanted to do one more core 4 movie, Busick continues, of the 4 friends introduced together in the 2022 legacy sequel, Scream. We know the fans love these characters. We love these characters. We created those characters. I would love to see in some universe the continuation of those characters in some way, but we weren't able to port over the stuff from the other story. It was like, okay, here is what the universe dealt us. We always wanted to do a Sidney movie, so it was like, all right, let's go into it. And now and why this one. I don't know if I believe him on that, because he said we've always wanted to do a Sidney movie. Really? Because y'all treated Sidney like shit in Scream 5. I felt like y'all sidelined her, and because you had to have Mikey Madison's character, Amber, kill off what's her name, Amber? I think it was. But anyway, so I would just say Mikey Madison. So y'all had Mikey Madison, which a lot of people still silent. Like, there's no way in hell that little ass girl killed Dewey. There's no way, but we'll just go along with it. Let's suspend our disbelief. So y'all had Mikey Madison kill off Dewey, and that was the only way that y'all found a way to bring in Sidney, when y'all pretty much benched her and Gail. Y'all just but y'all wanted to really focus on your new characters. And this is what new people do. This is when you under new management, and we all used to the other people that we had over there before, then y'all want to come in and bring in some new people. And it's like, well, screw them other people. We don't really know them like that. So we're going to come in and create our own little situation and focus more on them. And we just going to sideline them other people until they just want to either quit or they end up getting fired. And if Sidney has had to, well, Neve Campbell has had to carry this franchise on her back for 4 of the movies, and then y'all sideline her in 5 because Wes Craven's not around anymore, I just felt that was ultimate disrespect. So now y'all sitting up here saying, so when he goes and says, we always wanted to do a Sidney movie, so I was like, all right, let's get to it. I don't think that's what that was. I think Spyglass panicked, and they told y'all, okay, what are we going to do? We need to revisit Sidney, because the fandom is already pissed off. We shot our wad too early. We reacted instead of just calling Melissa Barrera in, having a conversation, seeing where she was coming from, because she didn't say nothing negative. The issue that I have a lot with people, especially when it comes to being pro-Palestine and giving a damn about innocent babies, children, mothers, and fathers who have nothing to do with being terrorists. If you want to say, like, yes, this is a mass genocide, what you're doing to these people is incorrect. Like, I just saw a video earlier of, like, people who are literally out here, like, they're preventing food and medicine and all kinds of aid of getting into Gaza to help these people, get what they need to get. You're starving them now. When you can't blow them up, you starve them. And then the ones that survive, then you want to ship them off to, I guess, Yemen or Jordan or wherever else. This is what's going on. And the fact that if you speak about this, if you call it out, then you're called a Zion. I mean, not a Zionist, because them Zionists and other people over there that apparently want this genocide that keep happening, because they feel like that they should be able to get that Gaza is rightfully theirs, or the West Bank is rightfully theirs. And it's like, no, that's just straight up Zion. That's just flat out terrorism. That's what that is. And I don't give a good goddamn who feels away. Netanyahu is a goddamn terrorist. He really is, and should be locked up for his crimes that he's committing. And the fact that America is using our taxpaying dollars to fund this is pissing me off. Don't get me wrong. I was pissed off with the last administration, but I already knew once this new administration got in, it was going to be 10 times worse. And here we are. So Melissa Barrera calling this out does not mean that she is pro-Hamas. And that is always the argument that a lot of people try to use to justify their BS and what's happening over there. Oh, well, then you must be pro-Hamas. No, that's not what that means. Now, and then, or they try to throw in the whole thing. When I speak about that, well, they want to, they don't like gay people. They hang gay people and they do. I said, so there are also queer Muslims. I've encountered a few. I've befriended a few. I've had conversations with a few of those queer Muslims. So just because you are a part of that world doesn't necessarily mean you 110% agree with what you were raised to believe. We can say the same thing about Catholicism. I was raised to be Catholic, and the homophobia that's in that world, I don't agree with that, but I was raised in that world. That doesn't mean I agree with it. So I think people need to understand that you can separate the things. You can call out Hamas and say that, yeah, terrorism is wrong on either side, but why are you punishing someone for having this? Because then this goes to show that who's the ones that's out here controlling the media, the government, and all these other situations. Hence why they did what they did. So I can see why they were pissed over there, at Spyglass, and they decided to go in on her. And now the fans have kind of shown the back, not kind of, they have. They've gotten the backlash. So I believe y'all panicked. And that's why y'all went after Sidney Prescott. Let's bring Sidney back. So that's what I believe on this situation. So then, speaking of Sidney Prescott, he did address. So they said, yeah, so why bring back Sidney now and why in Scream 7? After all, Gail told Sam and Tara in 6 she deserves her happy ending. Saying, quote, I don't want to give anything away about the reason Scream 7 had to be a Sidney movie. I think I pretty much gave y'all an idea. Well, it's a theory. My theory, but it's a theory. To be a Sidney movie because there's a really cool reason. In all these movies, you have to ask, why now? What is the thing Scream is commenting on now? Scream is always in a conversation with the audience about the state of movies and state of horror movies, and in particular franchises. And so, yeah, why he didn't really say what was going on, it's like, okay, there's a lot of things that's going on with horror films. Right now, we're in this whole boom of nostalgia, horror nostalgia, like, or legacy sequels, which is like Halloween 2018. And we had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that horrible one that I don't even want to think about, that was on Netflix. Like, when you go and you look back at prior characters and then you just do a whole legacy sequel or that sort of thing. Or, the rumors about the AI, hence how we get, some characters back, like Stu and Sidney's brother, who was the director, Roman Bridgers. And then we also get Dewey, which I also feel like they panicked by starting to reveal who the characters were that were coming back. Oh, we're getting all these people that are making a comeback. And I understand next year is the 30th anniversary of Scream, so they might be doing this as a look back or whatever. But the AI thing definitely, resonates in my brain as that's probably the direction they're going to go. But I do feel like they could have kept some of it a secret. And even David Arquette said he was surprised that they revealed his that he was going to be in the movie. And also I heard Matthew Lillard said y'all was supposed to find out that he was in the movie through the commercial. And so I do feel like with all this stuff leaking, that was Spyglass panicking yet again because of the online noise. They try to act like they don't hear it, but trust and believe, they got their ears to the streets. So yeah, they said, so what was it? Okay, it said, in all these movies, you have to ask, why now? What is the thing Scream is commenting on now? Scream is always in a conversation with the audience about the state of movies, the state of horror movies, and in particular, franchises. Music seems to suggest that the meta horror franchise's 7th entry is a commentary on the trend of the legacy sequel, which I just said, like 2018's Halloween, 2022's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 2023's The Exorcist Believer, which was terrible, and thank God that David Gordon Green is no longer attached to The Exorcist Believer, and 2025's upcoming I Know What You Did Last Summer, decades later sequels and quasi-reboots that brought back original characters and actors. 2022 Scream got in on the legacy quote by reuniting the trio of Gail, Sidney, and Dewey for the first time since 2011. And he said, quote, there is a really specific reason why Sidney is in the movie. I will say there is a reason, and we were happy with it when we cracked it. We went to Nev Campbell and said, this is why Sidney now. And that was like, oh, I get that. I pitched Kevin Williamson this first too. He got it and then I pitched the studio. I came up with the story, and my co-writer on Scream 5 and 6, James Vanderbilt. It was funny, I kept forgetting his name. Now, screenwriter Kevin Williamson, who also penned the screenplays for 1997's Scream 2 and Scream 4, which came out in 2011, is making his series directorial debut after taking over from Happy Death Day director Christopher Landon, who dropped out of the dream job that turned into a nightmare in December of 2023. And I already told y'all in the beginning as to why he dropped out of the franchise because of the online trolls and stuff. So now Busey credits Vanderbilt for the idea of bringing the Meeks Martin twins into Scream 7 without the other half of the core 4. He says, I believe it was James who came up with it. I want to give credit where credit is due, but it was an organic way why they would be in the movie. I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say it's through Gail. She is the connective tissue in 5 and 6, and she's in this. New York was obviously a big part of that. She bonded with those 4, and there's a reason why these 2 come to this town where the action is happening. And yeah, they said that they're not going to mention exactly what the town is. Some people think it's Seattle. I know they shot the film in Georgia, but when you shoot in certain places, you can make it look like anything. And so we don't know if it's Woodsboro. If I was Sidney, I would never go back to Woodsboro. Like, so much stuff has happened there. It's like, girl, move to another state. Like, who would continue to stay in after 30 damn years of people constantly trying to kill you? Like, I would stay in Woodsboro, but I don't think that's where they're staying. I've heard that it might be Seattle or some kind of, like, I've heard little weird things, but we'll find out when the movie comes out. But they said, yeah, or the as yet unnamed town where Sidney is in hiding. Busick couldn't say. He said, it's not New York. I don't want to be the one to spoil where it is. It's an unspecified amount of time. After 6, I might get contradicted by other people, but in my mind, more than 2 years. I would say at least 2 years. It could be 2 years, but I would say 2 years plus. And I know some people probably be like, well, how can it be 2 years? Because remember when she did Scream 5, the kids was lit up. I'm like, have y'all never seen like TV shows or movies or even soap operas where one week the child's 5 years old, the next week they're a damn teenager for summer sweeps? Like, this is what they do in movies. Movies is not real. It's a suspension of disbelief. So if you need to do a thing where you do a time jump and you age somebody's children when the last time you see them they was infants, we could suspend our disbelief. If people have a hard time with that, it's like, okay, like, do you not know how movies work? That's like when I'm seeing videos and stuff on social media and they show like green screens and people on wires and they're like, oh my God, it looks so fake. I'm like, are you stupid? Like, that's literally how movies work. Movies are not real. It's pretend. People get paid millions of dollars, sometimes a little 100,000. But if you in that $1 million club, some people get paid lots of money to pretend to be this character. That's not really them. If you want to see something real, watch a damn documentary. Like, I just don't understand people's brains some damn times. But me, I don't feel like it's a big issue. If they find a way to like, okay, we're doing a time jump and they do something like that where it's like a couple of years and people are like, well, that's not possible because she had this kid in this year and they can't be that age. Like, if you can't suspend your disbelief, then there's no hope for you. So now, adding to the mystery, they said Dewey, who was killed off in 5, is somehow returning. Arquette reprises his role alongside Lillard and Scott Foley's Roman Bridger, both killed off Ghostfaces. New cast members include Joe McHale as Sidney's husband, Mark, who remember was supposed to be Patrick Dempsey, but because I believe of scheduling conflicts or something or another, he wasn't able to do it, so they had to go do a little switcheroo and bring him up in there. And Isabel May, who is from the show 1883. She plays Sidney's daughter. Actors, cast in undisclosed roles include Anna Camp, who I absolutely love, by the way. I've always loved me some Anna Camp, and I'm just glad that she's finally getting her just due. I heard she's also dating a woman. How you doing? But she was in Pitch Perfect. She's a new friend in Sidney's in the movie, and some people think she might be the Ghostface. I just hope, like, I mean, if she is, okay, but I don't like when people always start with their theories. This is why I try to stay as far away from other conspiracy theories on social media as possible, because I feel like y'all just gonna ruin this damn movie for me. But also, Mark Consuelos is in it from Riverdale, Ethan Embry, Asa Gurman, Sam Reckner, Michelle Randolph, Jimmy Tatro, Celeste O'Connor, and McKenna Grace. Now, I like the fact that a lot of these people in here, like, not a lot of people are familiar with, except for maybe like McKenna Grace. We're familiar with her because she was in Ghostbusters. That last one sucked, but she was in the Ghostbusters reboot. Speaking of reboots or requels, and then some people, yeah. So a couple of people here, not a lot of people's familiar with, and I always like that in my horror movies, where it's just like, okay, they're not really big names, like you may have seen their face, but they look familiar and all that other stuff. But okay, so now to wrap all this up, Scream 7 is supposed to come into theaters on February 27, 2026. I'm actually hoping and praying that they find a way to boost this film up to like October of this year, because my thing is they finished shooting this about what, 2-3 months ago. Marco Beltrami's back working on the score. I think the last time he worked on the score was Scream 4, so now he's coming back. So it's like they're getting all the gang back, which is great. And I've always liked Marco Beltrami's music with the franchise. So he's supposed to be coming back. And so that means the movie's probably almost done in post. And I feel like if they can get all the music and everything done in time, why not release it? Because the word on the curb is that they've already they like what they see in Scream 7, Spyglass, I should say. And they're ready to offer, or they may have offered, this is a rumor, Kevin Williamson the next 2 movies, because apparently they're doing 2 more Scream movies. I guess they're trying to plan this as a trilogy of sorts. So they're looking to Kevin Williamson to come back, and I'm like, okay, that's smart. First of all, Kevin Williamson has already been part of the franchise. He created the original Scream, so he's familiar with all those characters. And then him coming back, it's like, yeah, Wes Craven is gone. I'm sure he learned a lot from being up under the wing of Wes Craven when, Scream was screaming. And he could bring a lot of that in here. He has the trust of a lot of people. He's an easy choice. So that way y'all won't windmill on him too much, because and that was smart on Spyglass's part as well, that they were able to bring him in for that whole situation, because it's like, we know Kevin Williamson. Kevin Williamson has been part of the franchise since day one, and people won't go too hard on him, because if we pick any other director, y'all gonna go and bully them to the point where they don't want to do the damn movie. But if he comes in, y'all won't go so hard. And no shade, but it worked. So, now, I'm sure you probably got some pushback a little bit, but it's like, you know what? Whatever. It is what it is. You're either going to see it or you don't. I mean, the movie's done. It's going to come out. Whether or not you want to see it, it's up to you. So, to wrap all this up, so I want them to bump that up, because they said they're doing Scream 8 and 9. And Scream 8, they're talking about they're going to film it this summer, I believe. And I'm like, if they do that, then y'all can film that through the summer, and then by the time Scream 7 comes out, you're already wrapped. You just got to worry about editing and all the other stuff. And then Scream 8 can come out next year in time for the 30th anniversary of the original Scream. So that's what I was hoping. But look, they're going to do what they're going to do with this movie. It is what it is. So, they don't want me to put it on Ghostface. We'll just leave it on David Arquette. So to wrap up this whole thing, because I did write a whole lot, I think I pretty much said all I needed to say on this. So at the end of the day, I'm just hoping that the movie's good. I know like the momentum really isn't like, I don't know if, are people that excited for a Scream 7 movie? Like, I like the franchise. I like Neve Campbell. I've always been a fan of Sidney Prescott. So I'm just more or less curious out of anything to see what they're going to do with this franchise. But, the horror franchise, the fandom, we're a loyal bunch. So if the film is good, people will support it. And I just hope that, like I said, they consider releasing Scream 7 in February, and then bump from February and bump it to like October this year. And so, yeah, that's all I got to say on it. I know that was a lot, but it was just like dealing with Scream. It's a lot to break down when I'm talking about a franchise that I'm very passionate about. So I say all this to you. What do you guys think of this story, on what Guy Busick had to say about the upcoming Scream movie? Yeah, I know he didn't say a whole lot, but I mean, I don't want him to, because I want to be wowed and surprised when I go in to see this franchise. I don't like when people spill too much about the thing, and then I'm annoyed because all the spoilers is out there, and I want to go in and actually get my little Scooby-Doo on when I'm watching the franchise. And then I also heard Sarah Michelle Gellar say that because all the other people come back from the dead, she wanted CeCe Cooper to come back. And I'm like, girl, you wasn't that, I mean, no shade. I liked her kill scene. When the way she was killed over, she was memorable in that part. But girl, you wasn't given enough for us to want to care about them bringing back CeCe. So, no, I love you, SMG, but not enough for that. Now, I would have preferred if you wanted to come back as Helen Shivers, not as CeCe Cooper. So, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. And speaking of comments, we got a whole lot of comments to get to. You said I was about to ask about Austin. Yeah, thank you. Thanks to Robert. He the one that sent me that in our he sent me that this morning. I'm like, I totally forgot about Austin. Well, actually I didn't. Because yesterday I was looking and I didn't see nothing. And then it's just like the universe, and they went and sent it. Yeah, definitely it's gonna be a time jump. I think that was always a speculation, but it was good that it was confirmed by the writer. I remember his attorney said the staff has failed to give him his basic medications. He definitely ain't getting his. Is it the steroids or is it something now? The high five, allegedly, the high five medication. I hope they don't kill him, Mason Goodness character. That's what I look. All that plot armor they put on him, he got stabbed more times than Tory Lanez last week in prison. I'm hoping that they don't kill him off. I don't want them to kill him off, and I don't want them to kill off Mindy. We like those characters. Well, I do. So I don't want him to die. Just like I hope that they can find a way to bring him back if they decide to do a Hard Eyes too. They could have made Scream 5 the Sidney movie if they really wanted to. That's what I said. It was like, they wanted to introduce their new characters, and y'all ended up sidelining your main characters. It's kind of like what they did with Halloween, the reboot. Like, I felt like y'all did sideline Jamie Lee Curtis, but y'all sideline her a lot in Halloween Kills. I didn't like that. Y'all kind of pulled a Halloween 2 with that. And then in part 3, Even though I do think separately, Halloween Ends was a good movie on its own, not as part of a trilogy. Because I know a lot of people don't like that movie, but I'm like, this is actually relatively good as a standalone Halloween film. Y'all were putting so much into that Corey Cunningham character, y'all almost forgot that Laurie Strode was in the damn movie and that her and Michael need to have a final showdown. I'm trying to decide which was the better final showdown between Laurie and Michael. Was it Halloween H2O or was it Halloween Ends? I feel like both left me feeling anticlimactic. I feel like the one Halloween H2O ended too damn fast. I wanted more of like them in the school. The van sequence and everything I like that when she chopped his head off. The reason how they brought him back in that Busta Rhymes movie was stupid. But nevertheless, I like that whole situation where they did that. I wanted more. I wanted more of like them like really fighting each other. I didn't want to, he's dead and I'm going to drive off with the van and we're going to go off alone. I'm going to chop his head. Like, I didn't like, that part was cool, but I wanted more of them like taking licks at each other, which we got a lot more of in Halloween Ends. That's why I didn't like 5 that much. There's no way Mikey Madison could overpower Dewey in the way they did it. That's what everybody said. I still think Kevin Williamson has uncredited. Yeah, I always said that. I feel like, because no shade, I just don't feel that Guy Busick and James Vanderbilt were good writers for the Scream franchise. I do feel like he probably came in and beefed up a lot of the dialogue and certain scenarios and all others. I do feel like it was a collaborative effort, and he's going to go uncredited on it. And now, if Scream 8 and 9, he is attached to being a part of that. Excuse me. I'm sure he will have a lot more to say in regards to this, in regards to the writing. Exactly. Soaps do that too. They age kids and give them a bit. That's why I'm not all that irritated. Like a lot of people online, it doesn't make no sense. They're gonna age the kids. I'm like, have y'all not seen a soap opera? Like, I grew up watching the stories with my mother. So and when you watch a lot of the soaps or whatever the case is, they age the kids. Like last week they was like 8 years old. The next week they in high school graduating. Losing their virginity in 3 months. I'm like, where does little child come from? And then the role of so and so will be played by, and we accept it. So we can accept it in the movies. I just don't think that, they wanted Sidney Prescott running around trying to protect little kids. Even though I like horror movies when it's like, okay, little kids in peril. Who says you can't kill children off? That ain't stop what's his name? Damien Leone. In them terrifying movies. I wonder if they're gonna address the fans. And look, and also they killed off a kid in freaking Halloween 2018. I didn't like the fact that Michael killed that little boy in that car. I was like, First of all, all he wanted to do was dance. And here you go and snap that little child neck. I wonder if they're going to address the fan theory of Stu being in love with. Can you imagine they actually do that? I do not believe that Stu is alive. I know a lot of people still go with that theory. I do not believe Stu is alive. First of all, do you know how heavy them big ass TVs was back in the day? There's no way in hell somebody's face is surviving that. Because I really hope that it could be such a mind fuck. It would also go to show that, you know what? Billy was a damn freak. Not only was he cheating on you, hence is where we got Melissa Barrera's character, Sam Carpenter, but because he was laying alone and spreading it wide with another woman, Christina, from school. That he was out here doing the boys too. I mean, look, it was the 90s. The 90s, we was doing all kinds of shenanigans in them. I said, like, Stranger Things is doing the time jump because the kids are more grown up. And yeah, the show's been off, it seemed like 5 freaking years. These kids don't know about time jump. Yeah, of course they don't. But it's like, I gotta explain it. And so I went back to the audience. Wait, it went back to the audience. It belongs to Gen X and millennials. Because it's like, I just feel like these other people just jumped into the city. Y'all wasn't like real, y'all are the Johnny Come Lately fans. So if the people that have been there from the beginning, y'all want to bring it back to us, then that's great. Are the people that excited over a Scream 7 movie? I speak for myself when I say no. I also don't hear anyone my age talk about it. That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe this is a way to go back to the veterans or the people that have been riding with Scream from the beginning. Because I feel like, and there's no shade, your generation is a fickle audience. And Scream was before y'all. And I do feel like because of they introduced these new people and Jenna Ortega's career was hot at the time, that probably drew a lot of the newer people to come in, you know. And now it's going back to the original people. Now he was stabbed more times on the bottom of WeHo Pride, or that one that just took them 97 lows. Did y'all hear about that story that's floating around about some dude with some 97 lows, and he was apparently a Methodist? You can cap put the first four letters in caps to know exactly what I mean when I say Methodist. I was gagging when I heard that. I'm like, what is going on with this whole 97 lows story? Hold on, let me go over and see what the people saying, because I did not check my comments, because I asked that earlier. I was like, what is all this? There could be 97 loads in a room. I was having a Lady Gaga moment. Oh, somebody did post it. They said, oh, somebody wrote, when you find out, let me know. Another person, a content creator, was bragging about having taken 97 loads and was smoking that ish. LOL, basically. Ooh. Not smoking as you talking about taking 97 lows. One person said, I lost the amount, the account name, but he didn't have 97 men. Some guys did multiple rounds. Well, yeah, if you got the same people coming up there taking turns, churning butter up in your ass, there's no way in hell you taking 97 loads. That's the same ones. oh, Keith Kill. Oh, I know her. Oh, she a mess. But I know she was on I know she was on she was a Methodist. Cause I've seen Keith Kills on social media. But I'm like, girl, you messy. But anyway, let me get off of that situation and let's get back to the show. Rachel, somebody who is new. How you doing? How you doing? Jen Ortega's career is cooling off now because of so many flops. And you said 3 flops this year. You better hope Beetlejuice 3 happens. No, it is happening. There was, I think the story came out like a month or 2 ago that we are getting a Beetlejuice. They didn't call it that, but 97 lows after like 3, you gonna put your... I know people that do that are CDs. Y'all know what I'm talking about when you talking about 90. They be down with that. I don't. No, ma'am. But there's some people that's into it. So if you like it, I love it. There was a woman who said she'd do another. Yeah, they do it for OnlyFans and do it for clout. But I know her coochie is like burning. I know it's sore. Like, girl, you gonna put some ice up in there and all that other stuff. But anyway, let's move on because this chat is hilarious. Let's talk about the American Music Awards. So congratulations to them on their low ratings, even though it wasn't that much. But apparently it said that even though it was down 20% last year, the 2025 edition, which was hosted by Jennifer Lopez, averaged 4.86 million viewers, according to CBS. But that was up 38% from the last live AMAs, which happened in November of 2022, which aired on ABC. Now, here I have a question. Is saying that you got damn near 5 million people watching you on TV a flex? Like, that to me would be considered a flop. Like, I don't know how y'all would consider, like, under 5 million. That's like, look, isn't that? I think the Real Housewives of Atlanta would wish they were getting them type of numbers because I heard their numbers is bad over there. But anyway, so it says Billie Eilish led the telecast and she won, I think, on all the major categories, but she didn't show up, which is produced by Dick Clark Productions and broadcast of Las Vegas, winning in all 7 categories, which she was nominated, including Artist of the Year, Album of the Year for Hit Me Hard and Soft, Favorite Touring Artist, Favorite Female Pop Artist, Favorite Pop Album for Hit Me Hard and Soft, Song of the Year, and Favorite Pop Song, both for Birds of a Feather. And I worked her tour, the Hit Me Hard and Soft tour. And the tour is actually, she's a pretty good performer. I like what I liked her tour. It was really good. So now CBS acquired the AMA broadcast deal in May of 2024 along with the Golden Globes. Now last year, CBS aired an introductory one-off in the form of American Music Awards 50th Anniversary Special. Variety parent company PMC owns their car productions, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Now it says the latest numbers reflect live plus same-day viewership on CBS plus live streaming on Paramount Plus. So they accumulated all of that. They said the Odd Network noted that the AMAs was the #1 broadcast of the night and also posted growth in key demos versus the 2022 live broadcast in adults 18 to 34 up 91%, adults 18 to 49 up 23%, and adults 25 to 54 up 16%, which I found weird because they all really had no celebrities that showed up besides for Lopez. And yeah, we had. Although when I spoke to my mother, she said that she actually enjoyed the awards. I was sitting there, I had my critiques of the situation, but she said, "Oh, I enjoyed it," and I think she enjoyed it because Gloria Estefan, Janet Jackson, Jennifer Lopez, like a lot of the veteran acts were there, and it made sense that okay, they did it in Vegas, and Jennifer gave us a Vegas-y type of opening, which I'm guessing she's saying, yeah, this is what y'all. And so, and you know what? It makes sense watching before. I didn't even think about that before, but I'm like, yeah, it makes sense watching before because she knew that, oh, I'm going to give y'all a taste of what y'all going to get when y'all come see me in Vegas. And say what you want about for Lopez. I don't expect her to have the best voice in the world, but Miss Mama's at her age, 55, still gets up there shaking her bonbon and dropping on them knees and whipping that hair back and forth and looking fierce doing it. So I can't hate on a showgirl. Like if you at least like lacking in the vocal department, give me showmanship. And one of the things about Miss Jennifer is that she gives showmanship. So I will always give credit where it's due, even though when I do throw my shade, I do try to be neutral in the stuff that I say. So they also said that in social and digital media, CBS touted that the AMAs drove 9.2 billion potential impressions and 816.6 thousand mentions on social media, and its social accounts garnered over 100 million video views within the first 24 hours across Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. So, and this is according to Listen First. So it just feels like a lot of times people are more engaged on social media than actually sitting there watching it. And that seems to be the new thing. So who knows? Maybe that's the future with a lot of these award shows, that they'll get more. There's more. It's all about the trending. It's not necessarily about the ratings. Like ratings is like old school stuff. Like who's paying attention to all of that? So I guess with all this news, we'll begin the AMAs next season. They'll probably ask Miss Jennifer to come back and do it again. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of the American Music Award ratings? Because I was only a matter of time before we was going to find out what it was, and I was going to talk about it on here. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, you said, oh, look at Dante in the room. He said, Chad, welcome to Syphilis City. Ill. I guess that'd be Austin Wolf if he ever goes to try. What, having the syphilis? And you said, who he hunting to keep getting his try? That's what I keep saying. It's like, I don't know how you've been able to postpone this damn thing so many freaking times. He said the AMAs this year was giving Vegas retirement. In a way, you're absolutely right. It was literally giving Vegas retirement home tease. Desmond, why we question? What's up with the question mark? We talking about Austin Wolf? Or he said, I only watched Virginia. I knew Taylor wasn't going to do an award show with no other A-listers and announce a whole album. AARP covers J-Lo. Wait, is the age of AARP when you can apply for AARP, is that when you 50? I thought it was when you were 60. I don't know. Look, I don't know. I'm way off from when I gotta apply. So that's what I was just wondering. Anyway, but speaking of music, let's talk about Fifth Harmony, because there's a story that's going around, and I know some people are like, oh, I don't believe it. So, well, funny enough, look, I didn't even know this, but I was scrolling through Twitter, and I saw a video that stated that Page Six revealed back in 2024 that Fifth Harmony was in negotiations of reuniting with Camila Cabello, and everybody was like, it's a lie. Nobody believes it. And it's funny because I didn't even hear about that last year. But when I was scrolling, because I was looking for more comments in regards, because usually I always try to get the opinions of other people to see like how they're feeling about this type of news and what the people are saying on social media. So that's what I was actually searching for. And some of the people were saying like, And then I came across that old video. I mean, that old post, and that was from I think Pop Crave or something or another. So yeah, apparently they were saying that that was going on last year, but then they called it a lie. But if I didn't hear about it, then I guess it wasn't true. So now this year is coming out, and this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter, which is a very reputable trade in Hollywood in the industry. Like they get all the big news and stuff. It's them, Variety, Deadline, Entertainment Weekly. I usually follow a lot of them when it comes to a lot of sourced material. And so, yeah, they're running around saying that Fifth Harmony is looking to get back together, but this time without Miss Camila Cabello. And some people be like, I think the views is mixed. Is like, she don't need it. And then there's some people's like, well, girl, the music ain't really doing what needs to be done. So maybe you need to kind of hit them girls up and start performing again. That might actually sell some tickets. Because remember, once upon a time, not long ago, we saw that performance of Camila in the arena, and it looked like it was about in the arena seats 20,000, but it looked like it was about 100 people in there. And the amount of seats that was empty, it was kind of embarrassing. But the good thing I will say that she did is that she still gave a show. And you know, what was I watching? Oh, I was catching up on And Just Like That. I was watching one of the old episodes from last year, and I think it was Nicole Ari Parker's character said that even if it's one person in the room, my daddy told me that I should still perform for them. And that's what Camila did. So I'll give her points for that. So now, according to the Hollywood Reporter, they said the reunion would include all of the girl group members, except for Camila Cabello, who left 5H at the end of 2016. So yeah, next year it'll be 10 years since she's been out of the group. Now, forming through the TV singing competition, The X Factor, back in 2012, Fifth Harmony's original lineup consists of Cabello, Normani, Ally Brooke, Donna Jane, and Lauren. How do you say this girl name? Horegi? I think we'll go with that. But anyway, so this the quintet would go on to become one of the best-selling girl groups of the 2010s with the albums Reflection and 727 both going platinum. First of all, out of all the albums out, 727 was my favorite. That's kind of like I put it up there with Danity Kane's Welcome to the Dollhouse. Like those are like my top two girl group albums. And you know, of course, I'll throw in a Destiny's Child song, but it's ain't all about a girl group conversation. Maybe I should do like a top 10 favorite girl group albums or whatever. We could put Crazy Sexy Cool up in there. We could put in one of Destiny's Child albums. What would it be? Writings of the Wall? Would it be that one? Or would it be Survivor? Like, who knows? But anyway, let's get back to Fifth Harmony. So the quintet will go on to become one of the best-selling girl groups of the 2010s. They said they nabbed their biggest hit with Work From Home featuring Ty Dolla $ign, which has 1.5 billion, that's with a B, Spotify streams as of this story's publication, while Worth It featuring Kid Ink went triple platinum. Man, I want that. Okay, now fans were shocked in 2016 when Fifth Harmony announced that Cabello was leaving the group, confirming they continue as a foursome instead. And remember we saw that video of them as a foursome, and they had one up there that looked like Camila, and then she kind of like fell backwards, and then they came down. That was shady, but that was hilarious, by the way, when they did that little stunt. So yeah, and then he said, as part of the split, Cabello relinquished her rights to the Fifth Harmony name. They re-signed with Epic Records after the departure and released the eponymous Fifth Harmony in 2017. By 2018, the group announced an indefinite hiatus as the members could focus on solo careers. I feel like at this point, they need to figure out, you can't do Fifth Harmony as a quartet. Like Destiny's Child would work because at least they had no numbers up in there. Like Destiny's Child started out as a quartet, then they tried to do the quartet again. And then when that didn't work out, they started, excuse me, they continued as a trio, hence with Michelle Williams, whose sidebar, I heard that she getting tired of y'all screwing up her lyrics to Cater to You, the bridge part. She tired of y'all doing that. I saw that article earlier today. So learn the lyrics, people. So then they said, yeah, they said the group announced an indefinite. Oh, they said that wait, hold on, where was it? Because I was reading that they said that I think they said Fifth Harmony is no longer on Epic's roster. So they're no longer on they're label list, but they're gonna go and tour. Is that what they're saying? Because isn't is Normani on Columbia? I was trying to wonder because what label is she on? So yeah, they focus on their solo careers, and it's no shade, but none of these girls have been able to pop off. And well, I will say this: say what you want about Camila, but she has been able to garner some moderate hits out of. Now, I ain't saying she as big as Beyonce. Heck, she's not even as big as Karol G. And Karol G is selling out stadiums, so she's not even shit. She's not even bigger than Charlie XCX. Although she did try to take elements of Charlie XCX and use a couple of her songs or whatever the case was. I forget which one that Charlie XCX did write a song that ended up. I think was it Havana? I think it was one of them damn songs was actually got Charlie's got a writing credit on one of Camila's hits. But anyway, so at least Camila's got some moderate success. Although I did say, Miss Mama, if you can't sell an arena, then you should be doing smaller venues until you get to that point of they actually like you or whatever. So yeah, all the girls dropped new music or albums or whatever. And they said Brooke Jean, Jareggi, and Normani have all released various singles and EPs, with Normani dropping hits such as Motivation and Love Lies with Khalid. And, you know, she had the Dopamine album, which didn't really do well. So, with all that being said, I just wonder, do people actually care about a Fifth Harmony reunion? Especially when y'all music ain't been doing what needs to be done as a solo act. And could they actually sell tickets as a quartet? Because I think that they would want all the girls to be there. And no shade, but it seems like Camila kind of is enjoying being a solo act. So she don't really need it, I would guess. But they said that the new Fifth Harmony has big plans for 2026, which would mark the 10th anniversary of 727 and Work From Home, per insiders. The group is working on a documentary to chronicle their return to the stage, which would capture footage on a yet-to-be-announced tour. It's unclear who is managing the group, but Will Bracey, who is married to Fifth Harmony member Ally Brooke and serves as Chief Operating Officer of the Justin Bieber Family Office, is said to be leading the charge. Bracey did to comment, THR was unable to reach reps for Normani, Jane, and Jareggi for a comment. News of a Fifth Harmony reunion has garnered mixed reviews from the fans, with harmonizers, if that's not what they call them, that's what your name is now, taken to social media to tweet the following. Now, one person said, "We don't want it without Camila." Another person said, "They don't need any racists in the group anyway." Another person said, "Then it won't make as much noise. It's not a true reunion without Camila." Another person said, "And they'll go even further without her nasally ass voice." Another person said Normani gave up without even trying because there was some type of, I don't understand. I guess it was the stone money or whatever the case is. That was one of the gifs. Another person said their solo careers flop hard, so they have to unite. I'm pretty sure that when Camila left, she did it for good and doesn't want any reuniting either. Not like this wouldn't commercially help this reunion. Well, it definitely would help commercially, the reunion, especially if all 5 girls got together. Y'all could be in separate rooms or whatever, just get up there, sing a little song, do your little 2-hour situation, and get up on the stage. Nobody said y'all gotta do each other's nails and go eat out at the restaurant together and act like y'all are sisters. It's just like, look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is the money. The bigger picture is, you know, the resurgence and the success and all other stuff. Like, y'all should be thinking about that, but a lot of y'all just don't be thinking about the bigger picture. A lot of y'all don't think 10 steps ahead. You only think about the one step. And to me, in my smart bag, I'm like, even though if I don't like none of you bastards, I mean, look at Oasis going out on tour. They can't stand each other and they related. So they at least they're gonna come out here and make and they know, like, okay, this bag is more important. We can go back to hating each other once we get off the stage. But right now, I love you, you're my best friend in the world, and all that good stuff. Now, another person said the fact that Normani hasn't established herself as a solo artist yet, but ran back to tour with the group, tells me everything I need to know. Another person said, nothing says scripted simulation like rebooting a band named Fifth Harmony with 4 people. The name itself was predictive programming. The fifth was never supposed to stay. She was the offering. The reunion isn't about music. It's an industry. Okay, now they want to talk about ritual, seance, Illuminati, all that conspiracy. And why is it always black people out here always talking about some damn Illuminati and some rituals and shit? Or what they call those? The ones where like you I forget the term, but it was something like where a humiliation ritual offering was like they always say that y'all just be pulling stuff out y'all behind. But anyway, let's get back to what the people saying. Another person said, hard to tell whether I should be excited by this or no. Another person said Camila should do it. Her Latin Cuban pop with baby vocals got repetitive and tired quick. Another person said Camila is smart not to. She doesn't need this. No money. I'm surprised. I love dopamine. Well, you the only one because nobody bought dopamine, and it's no shade. But the proof is in the pudding. People just didn't care about her music. I guess the rollout was bad. She took too long with the delays. I get it that she was dealing with her parents being sick and all this other stuff, but quiet as it's kept, the people don't care. So maybe it is good to get back. But I would have tried to at least still try to establish myself as a solo act, unless the label is playing games and not allowing me to be my creative. So at that point, I just pull a Tanashi and be like, can y'all just let me out my contract and I'll just have to go independent and really try to build my, and take the fan base that I have and just build what I got with them. And that's what's oh yeah. So I think that's pretty much it in regards of the comments. Oh, I want to play y'all this one. Hold on, because this is funny. This is funny because this is from Sinners. They said, Camila, we really want you to do this Fifth Harmony reunion? And this is her response.
Boy, if you don't get the fuck out my face. Boy, if you don't get the fuck out my face.
It's like, It's like, no, she ain't doing it. So yeah, I think that's all I gotta say now. But yeah, I'm just like, I want to hear from y'all. Do you guys are you all excited for a Fifth Harmony reunion? Do you even think we need it? Did anybody ask for this? I mean, I'm sure they got their hardcore fans, whatever the case is, but I don't know. It just seems like to me, the people don't care. But the reviews, I mean, the comments are mixed. Me, I'm just like, okay, I'll just see what it is. If I end up working it, I'm like, there's money in my pocket, but I could care less either way. So I want to hear from y'all. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Do Jesus, we got a lot of comments. Today is like crazy. But hold on. You said, 45. 45, you're going to apply for AARP, child? And you said Jennifer gives the same performance in 29 different fonts. Well, look, they calling them Fifth Harmony. I'm like, y'all better find a new singer. Camila isn't even giving them a side. Poor Normani. Poor Normani. Isn't that should be her next album title? Poor Normani. Dinah, Allie, and Lauren reunited last week. Oh yeah, I saw that. I did see the video. Of them at a game. No, it wasn't the Knicks game, because if it was the Knicks game, I would have seen them. But I forget who it was. I think it was a Pacers game or something. Wait. I forget where it was. I think it was in Illinois or something. Camila dropped her manager recently. Oh. So maybe what it is like, yeah, she's ready for new management because her career is not where she feels like it needs to be. That's the XOXO album. No, I commend her for trying something different and really pushing herself out of her comfort zone and trying new sounds and stuff. But the album didn't really work for me. But I will say, when I watched her little hour special, her little concert on Apple TV, I was like, okay, I like what's going on here, where you had the little skating thing, rink, and all that other stuff, and you were standing on, you were on the bike and with the camera and all that. Like, I like the little experimental things she was doing. So I always give somebody A for effort when they want to step outside their comfort zone. The song just wasn't doing it for me. And I think what it is that maybe they need to just push her more or less internationally, because I always say the US is very fickle when it comes to their support of artists. So push her as an international act. She definitely has that crossover appeal. They better off yachting at this point. And her target audience in America still knows her as okay. That's why that person made that comment. That's what's the arena capacity for those European and Asian shows? Well, Robert said that she sold them out, but I want to know I do want to know what the capacity is though. No money is under RCA. Okay. Well, that's her biggest mistake. You know, RCA stay doing people dirty. Ask Christina. It's funny how I had to slide that reference in when that was, one of her songs. Oh, I knew it was one of them damn songs, but thank you, Senorita. I was like, I know Charlie. And so when people talk about, if you're not trying to come in, I'm like, she has done a song before. The bigger picture is the money. Okay, that's what I said. I'm like, shit, you think I'm gonna turn down some money? I was like, okay, I don't have to like your ass, but I'm gonna like my account when I look at it. Oasis, Champagne, Supernova, Wonderwall is a classic. Nobody sometimes seems like she's holding back. I agree. Or it's either the holding back or she just be like trying to. It just feels like you're not being authentically you. Like you be trying to. It's like, girl, we get it. Like simmer down. In regards, like you can do your little full out 8 count, but it just feels like you really trying to. Look, I can do this. It's like relax. You need to be in the pocket. You need to show your confidence. You don't have to go overboard with it. But Black people are very Illuminati because Black people are very, very superstitious. That is true. Fifth Harmony doesn't have a damn catalog worth getting excited about a reunion over. I was thinking that because they only have 2 records. I mean, unless y'all plan on recording new music, I can understand that. But y'all going to tour up 2 songs, and if y'all do, y'all gonna have to come in with like a couple of acts. That's kind of like with Scissors and Kesha. It's like, yeah, Kesha is not going to be able to do a whole tour, like an arena tour by herself, because I don't think she has enough songs. It's not like they are the female equivalent of one. Although they did both come off of X Factor. That is correct. They didn't really come, they weren't as big as One Direction. Nothing against them. They are just so blah. Camila is the weakest of the bunch. But you heard them make fun of the little baby vocals that she be having. Nobody just needs to continue and perform so she feels more comfortable. Maybe it's because so many of us grew up on Beyonce and we all knew what she was about. I had a couple of friends that went to go to the Cowboy Carter show at MetLife yesterday. And they little cowboy regalia, living their best life. Nobody doesn't have a fighting chance. Sinners just looks like a good movie. I shall wait for Netflix. No, not Netflix. Well, look, it comes out on digital next week. So if you want to rent it in the confines of your own house, you can do that. No one cares. We got Coco Jones and SZA. No, we do not need it. I would like it. Well, look, didn't they say they want? Well, first of all, Dawn tried to fix her shady ass mouth to even throw in this request. I forget who is the woman that's in that took over one's Dawn. What's her name? Rona Bennett? I don't know why I was thinking Rona Barrett. Rona Barrett was like an old gossip columnist back in the day. But I think her name was Rona Bennett or something or another. Dawn had the nerve to talk about, well, if I'm going to come back, you need to get rid of all the... I was like, no, bitch, first of all, you the one that decided to drop out. I'm not getting rid of her, and then you have one of your little episodes, and then all of a sudden, we let this girl go, and then all of a sudden, you decide to wake up one morning and decide you don't want to be in the group no more. And it's like, oh, so now we down a girl again. No, you lost your privileges 30-something years ago when you decided to quit. And then we was thinking that, okay, so it was whatever. And then she decides to join Lucy Pearl and does the same damn thing. Okay, now I'm looking at you like you the problem. So I ain't taking Dawn crazy ass seriously. Now she's talking about she like living out her van or a car, whatever the hell it was. Which I don't mind that. If you want to live the life of a nomad, be my guest. Once upon a time, I did the same when I was traveling with the circus. Not needing a Lopez tour either. Well, look, it's not a tour; it's a residency, and I feel like that's her safe bet. She can go overseas and take the money from, Afghanistan and Dubai and all the other places that she's been taking. But when she comes to America, I don't think that she has the graces of the American audience that is going to go out and spend $1,000 on a front row seat. They'll go see her in Vegas before they do that, and I feel like Vegas is her safe bet. Not necessarily for Katy Perry though. Camila is just not it. She does not have that energy, nor does she have a presence. And quiet as it's kept, Camila looks genetically... I'm going to let y'all just be saying the shady stuff. So that way I can just hide behind y'all and just laugh. And you said Camila better do what Beyonce did and do one more era with the group and then come back with a banger of an album. Well, hopefully she's afforded that because this record, it just seems like RCA is playing with her and making her fail on purpose. Never forget when Camila praised Madonna at the child. Did you see when Madonna read her though? I have that video on my TikTok when she had to read the card and she kind of like looked at it like, like, who is this little girl? But anyway, you said, never forget when Camila praised Madonna at the 2018 VMAs in front of her. I've seen every one of your music videos and Madonna didn't care. She wanted Ariana to, oh yeah, that's when you was talking about. That when she got a little irritated because she had to read Camila's name instead of Ariana's. That video is hilarious, by the way. Honestly, I was about to bring up Christina too. Okay, good. You know that was automatically going to be the thing because I feel like out of that label, the biggest name to come off of that I could think of would be Christina. And it seems like a lot of people who've been on RCF all had bad experiences. So I would never, if I was an artist, I would never sign with them because you're not going to sideline me. You're not going to sign me and then play with my career. And that's a smart thing to do is like do smaller theaters, do festivals, build your momentum. I don't know why a lot of this new generation, y'all act like y'all have a problem starting from the ground up. You could do like small little situations. I mean, you had artists that would do like small venues, dive bars, whatever the case is, and then build that audience, and then they go and they graduate to the theater, then they graduate to the arena. Because I've worked a couple of shows where they, like, oh, last year they did the smaller venue, and then this year, now because it was so successful and people like them, now they can move to the arena. Don't just throw them in the arena and just hope for the best. It's kind of like how I felt about Charlie XCX and the Sweat Tour. I was like, I don't see arena. I don't get arena with this. But, and then y'all was out there struggling, especially in the U.S. mostly. I don't know about overseas. Yeah, I remember Madonna's head tilt when she had this. Okay. Did I say movie theaters? Or we were talking about regular theaters? I probably did say movie. I be saying stuff sometimes. I forget what I say. Normani could do a duet with Christina. Christina worked with Lotto. She could work with Normani and do a project. Well, we'll see if they would want to do that. It's giving Janet doing empathy. If only Kim Cattrall was money hungry to swallow. Okay, because that's what I was going to say. It's like, sis, just come back and do it just like that. I don't have to sit there and like Harry Bradshaw, but when it come down to the coin, I'm going to just do the show. Once they say cut, bitch, don't talk to me. You go talk to them other ones over there that's kissing your behind. I'm here for the check. Simon should have pushed Little Mix more than Fifth Harmony. Agreed. To me, I feel like Little Mix was the better group. If you ask me, they have better songs too. Normani needs a Velvet Rope album. I agree with that. I could definitely see Normani doing something in that vein where she could be more experimental with her sound. But that last album, it just sounded like just like every other regular R&B chick. Like it really wasn't giving me, and I was so bored in the opening. If you don't grab me by the, I think we talked about this when that album came out. If you don't grab me by the first 4 songs, I'm out. Normani needs a Madonna Bedtime Stories is Something to Remember or Ray of Light. Janet and Madonna really evolved in the 90s. I do wonder if like were they at least more open to the girls experimenting in that time. Now they kind of want to just put you in a box. It's like, oh no, Black people can't do pop. Black people can't do electronic music. I'm like, huh? Black people invented house music. Black people invented country music. Black people invented rock and roll. But we've created the genres. We were the foundation. We planted the seeds. It grew into other things. And yes, country music is more dominated by white folks. Rock and roll is more dominated by white folks. But the foundation was always, the roots always lead back to Africa. At the end of the day, I would say all drums lead to Africa. And you said these female artists really are not giving the level we expect of this new generation. It seems Chappell Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, and Doechii will be here. Yeah, they definitely are standing out as girls who are individually and unapologetically themselves. But she pigeonholes herself to the R&B genre. I thought Normani was supposed to be the Black female pop. I thought that's what she wanted to go, the direction she wanted to go. But I think her label was kind of like pushing her to do that other music. Nobody waited too long to drop her album, so people lost interest. And that's another thing, too. You got to strike while the iron is hot, especially in this social media climate. Nobody should have went ahead and entertained pop and then transitioned to R&B, or she could have just did both. But I do feel like you should have established yourself as a pop act. SZA will be here for 10 years too. There's also a conversation about how there's no black female pop stars out right now, except don't even get me started with Tyler. I can't take that girl. And even she doesn't have that much appeal. Yeah, I just don't see the appeal of Tyler. I feel like that girl need a sandwich, number one. And that Make Me Sweat, Make Me Guala song. I'm like, I'm tired of that damn song. Girl, where's the next hit? It's kind of like you and Benson Boone. Y'all be beating us over the head with that same old one damn song y'all got. Madonna wanted Ariana to win because Ariana is talented and had crossed over the movies like Madonna did. Yeah, they genuinely have love and respect for each other. Everything about Camila seems fake and performative. You said that. Oh, you said makes sense. Madonna has a pretty good eye for talent. Whitney and Stevie Nicks had good eyes for female talent, and they were always girls too. Especially Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston was a girl's girl. That was the one thing I always liked about her. Christina Pink and Avril Lavigne. Oh, speaking of which, Avril Lavigne got a show at my job tomorrow, and I wasn't even scheduled for it. But it's all right though. I'll be at City Field. Like you said, Avril was RCA, wanted nothing but girlfriend type songs. To her as an artist, I was 23, I'm 26 and 27. That's not going to work. Yeah, Madonna was always a girl's girl too, for those who, She still does, yeah. She loves Kylie and happy. I think we wished Kylie a happy birthday the other day. Little Mix was light years ahead of Fifth Harmony. Absolutely. Pink did mention on Andy Cohen's show that she was given the talk by RCA. Pink is now older, a mom, and she needs to adjust. Speaking of Pink, shout out to her for officiating her dancer Kassan's wedding. You know, the black dude. He was also on that show Fire Island. So she officiated his wedding. He got married. Not so long. I think People Magazine did a whole article. I thought about talking about this show, but I was probably like, y'all probably don't even care. So I just want to say it in passing. Madonna went from working with Babyface and making those beautiful songs and then working with William Orbit and putting out Ray of Light. Madonna always wanted to push and challenge herself. And artists should always do that. I always say, hey, Magical Mermaid, welcome to the channel. The reason why Janet and Madonna could release these records was because they paid their dues releasing pop hits and pandering. And yeah, that's what it is. It's like when you play the game, because that's what it is. When you play the game, then and you give them a lot of hits, they leave you alone. Ask Rihanna. Like when Rihanna was out there playing the game and basically just window shopping for hits and giving all that, then she gave us Auntie. And why people consider, which is why people consider Auntie like her best body of work. Because at that point she proved herself. She made the label a lot of money. They got off her back, and now I was like, okay, I'm ready to experiment and do different. I'm ready to do what I want to do. And then she went out like a G because she ain't put out a record since. Rock and roll was always black people. Chuck Berry is a great example. Okay, and then Elvis came along and did what he did. Nothing new under the sun. Elvis, Little Richard. Mm-hmm. What's up with Tyler? Tyler is not American, so she's not going to understand the vibe we expect here. Rihanna is really the last to do pop, but Rihanna kept is fresh and would challenge her look, which she actually got a lot of pushback from in regards of like they didn't want her to cut her hair, they didn't want her to do certain things, and she was doing a lot of rebelling. And funny enough, it was like at the end of the day, she was right and she understood what worked with her career. Oh, please don't let Monica see that this post. Cheerleaders have been calling out Mr. Benson Boone for doing backflips wrong. What he's doing is apparently a side. Yeah, he always does like a. I notice he always does it from the side. He's not doing a backflip, and that's why I find him funny because I'm like, yeah, he always does like a little side flip or whatever you want to go. Like you said, a side Sami. I don't know the terms, but yeah, he always does it like on the side. I've noticed that. But then I did see an article that Robert sent me, but I don't know if it was legit, but it did say TMZ that they say he's considering quitting music to become a gymnast. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know if the music's gonna sell. But if that's where you want to go and you want to join the Olympics in the next couple of years, that'd be cute. If you want to do that, I mean, you get to wear tight old spandex like you always be wearing on stage. But I don't know. I don't think he's gonna leave the music industry. Yeah, I like and she's like he's practically family, so that's why she officiated the wedding. He said we had one male cheerleader when I was in high school. It's funny now I'm starting to see more male cheerleaders. I don't think I ever witnessed like seeing a male cheerleader. I always saw girls, but I like the fact that they're incorporating guys and stuff. Rihanna actually had a lot of control over her career. Well, she had to fight for that because remember at one point they wanted her to be a damn one-hit wonder. They thought Tia Marie was going to be that girl, and they looked at Rihanna as a one-hit wonder type, and she had to be like, I got to prove these hoes wrong. And look, where's Tia Marie? She had to go to Love and Hip Hop. We ain't heard from her since, and Riri is a billionaire. I see a point regarding Madonna and Janet. These two were solid in the 80s and early 90s. So late 90s, they could be more experimental. Yeah, those were a time though for a good time for music. I just feel like music is kind of falling off. One of my best friends was a male cheerleader. Oh boy. Well, I always prefer if like we get some cheerleaders that was cute. I remember reading the record company wanted Madonna to chill a bit after Erotica and the whole sex book. Madonna then put out Something to Remember and did movies. Benson shouldn't be doing Power Ranger. Yeah, because one day he gonna do that shit and he gonna flip wrong and you gonna hear a pop, 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 pop. You gonna hear that on your ankle and then you gonna be out of commission. So but I feel like it's like Ellen whenever she had to come out and do that stupid dance on her talk show. It's expected now. I mean, he did a flip when he was on what's the thing on the American Music. We all knew it was coming. But anyway, let me get back into the show because I feel like we spent 15 minutes me going through them damn comments, but I'll get to them after we done. So speaking of And Just Like That, let's get into And Just Like That, which I'm hearing drops today. I went earlier to see like if I could watch it so I could give my overall review before I got to this topic, but apparently the episode hadn't aired. They still had season 2 up. So I had stopped watching season 2 after the 4th episode because Che works my root canal nerve. I cannot stand Che on the show. Thank God y'all got rid of them. I mean, Sato Ramirez, love you as an actor, hate your character. And I also hated the way Miranda would act on the show. Like Miranda was always standing on business when it came to relationships, whenever it came to her career, whenever it came on stuff. So Miranda was that girl. She was she was very strong-willed in her convictions, and I always hated the way she treated Steve. Even now, I hate the way she treated him. But then she all of a sudden starts exploring her same-sex side. She gets googly eyed and dumb. Like, what happened to your brain? Did your brain fall out your coochie after Che ate it? Like, I just didn't understand, like, how all of a sudden you just became this babbling idiot. So I just hated the way they wrote her character. And so now I'm, in a way, so glad that, Miranda is going to be out here dating around. So, yeah, they said, despite its detractors, the so hated its loved Sex and the City spinoff, And Just Like That is back for season 3. And according to first reviews, it's still on the messy side, but with some improvements to the first 2 seasons. Because, yeah, I said this. I was like, you know what? As much as I've been like, I love Sex and the City, I've been rewatching Sex and the City. I jump around and watch all different types of shows, but Sex and the City was like, I love that show. I didn't really get to watch it back in the 90s when it was out, but then later on I did catch like the final, like the last bit of the show. So I jumped on it late. And then, with streaming and everything, you can catch up and start watching stuff again. So I went back, and so then after watching this show, I was expecting like, okay, so it's women in their 50s and how they're trying to navigate love and relationships and friendships and all that other stuff. Like that's the kind of should have been the core of the show. But I just felt like they got off on shaky ground. They didn't know where they wanted to go. They didn't know where they fit in. And I guess we were probably in the whole Me Too woke era, whatever. And so them trying to write these characters, especially with the conversation surrounding the lack of diversity on Sex and the City, especially when the show takes place in one of the most diverse cities in the world, that would be New York City. How the hell that y'all don't have this diverse group of people? So it felt like y'all were kind of shoehorning in a lot of the characters. But now I feel like the characters actually work. Like I love, what's her name? Seema. I love her character, the Indian lady. I love me some Nicole Ari Parker, and I love the woman that works with Miranda at the woman that I think it was her professor or whatever, who she now was roommating with. That was where I left off with the show. So Because Che be having her damn bipolar disorder moments. So she's like, oh, I'm gonna just stay over here with you. And plus, she lives like a couple of minutes away from the house. And then you had Charlotte's daughter, the Asian child, out here spreading her legs, talking about she want to lose her virginity. I'd have locked her up in the attic like Anne Frank. I'm like, no, we're not losing our virginity. But then again, when you that parent, it's sort of like your kids are going to do what they're going to do. If I'm not able to just monitor and be like, okay, well, if you're going to go and make the decision, then I'm going to get you some condoms. I'm going to get you some lube. I'm going to get you some, all the things that you need so you don't walk away pregnant and with the STI. And I may not agree with it. I may be vehemently against it, but I can't control you and your uterus. So if you're going to go out there and you're going to dip it and do it, I'm going to just give you the tools. It's not saying I'm encouraging it, but you're going to do what you're going to do. Because kids will find a way to, if they want to do something and they think they know every damn thing, they will find a way to sneak behind your back and carry. Now, speaking of Carrie, they said, according to the official vague HBO synopsis, and just like that, season 3 follows Carrie, Miranda, Charlotte. Oh, it is Seema. I was like, is it Seema? I wasn't sure. It was like Seema and Lisa Todd Wexley navigating the complicated reality of life, love, sex, and friendship in the 50s in New York City. The recently released trailer gives a little more away about what's happening in season 3, as it looks like there will be even more focus on Carrie and Aiden, plus Miranda's love life in a post-Che Diaz climate. And yeah, so Che is not coming back for season 3, but I think a lot of people knew that because a lot of the fans couldn't stand her. Or, sorry, them, because they go by they, them pronouns. So, yeah, the fans didn't really like Che. With cameos from the likes of Broadway, oh, Jesus, we got Patti LuPone up in there. So, child, we got to deal with her. And you already know we got a story about her and Audra McDonald coming up because Audra did clap back in over this recent stuff that Patti LuPone had said. And queer comedian and chief Donald Trump basher Rosie O'Donnell, season 3 appears to be shaping up to be a fun one. Now, first reviews are out in the world, and it looks like, and just like that, season 3 is a fun one, or funner than the last 2 seasons at least. In a 3-star review from The Telegraph, Michael Hogan writes that some of the old Sex and the City magic is detectable for the first time in this spin-off series, saying, quote, there are signs that it's finally getting into its vertiginous, healed stride. There is still plenty here to mock, and rest assured we will, but there's also just enough of the old magic to make this a nostalgic guilty pleasure. Hogan reveals that O'Donnell's cameo involves her character having her virginity taken by Miranda, which sounds wonderful, but the critic stresses, and just like that, is still plagued by a Samantha-shaped hole. So that seems to be the other problem that a lot of people have. And we were just talking about Samantha, that is like, yeah, it doesn't feel complete without Samantha being there. And I really wish, like it was stated earlier before we even got to this topic, that friend to the show, Robert, said, I wish Samantha would swallow her pride. Like we was talking about Fifth Harmony, like, look, Camila, you acting like you don't need it. You need it just as much as these other girls need coming back to Fifth Harmony. Same thing with Kim Cattrall. I get that you like going off doing your other shows, but sis, everything you've been in has been canceled. Most recently, what was that show that was kind of like a ripoff of Ugly Betty with the trans girl? And she was like the Miranda Priestley of the cosmetics firm or the fashion firm, whatever the hell it was. I can't remember the show. It was that memorable. But it was on Netflix for like a season and then they canceled it. So that went off. And I like Kim Cattrall. And she did make a little cameo in the last season, but it definitely does feel incomplete without her being here. And I'm sorry, but it's like you bring on these other characters, it doesn't fill that void of Samantha, because I feel like while I do enjoy Charlotte, I enjoy Miranda, I enjoy Carrie, I do feel like I see myself in a lot of these characters. I was more of a Samantha. And Samantha was my girl. And I think I kind of still do move like Samantha did back in the day on, Sex and the City. So, They said in another 3-star review for Metro, Adam Miller similarly writes that, and just like that, season 3 starts to correct the wrongs of the first 2 seasons, namely that Che Diaz is no more and Miranda is becoming the Miranda of her Sex and the City days again. Calls to rid, and just like that of any trace of Che Diaz have been heard, Miranda is finally back to being the sharp, quick-witted, career-driven lawyer she used to be, and she's thrown herself straight back into the dating pool. There's another 3-star review from Nikki Hilton in The Independent, who describes season 3 as more confident than its predecessors. And that's what I think that what it was with the first 2 movies. I do feel like there was a bit of insecurity there where they couldn't figure out how people were feeling about, like, I don't think they knew where they fit in this whole climate of TV and stuff, because, you know, when you're afraid to tackle certain things because people think that, oh, we say this, we're going to hurt people's feelings. And it's like, just go there. Just say what you're going to say. Stand on your point of view. Stand on your business. And if we like it, we like it. We don't, we don't. And it's just, you know, that's what you need to focus on. But I think a lot of people focus on, because, you know, like when we talk about past shows, people will sit and pick things apart. Oh, the thing about bisexuality wasn't correct. That was, you know, there was biphobia and this is homophobia and this is transphobia. You know, they always look at little things like, I'm like, this was 25 years ago. The times were the times. We can correct the time now, but I don't like when writers have to walk on eggshells to be able to tell the story that they need to tell, because I feel like characters should be imperfect. There's no such thing as a perfect character. And the characters that I like are the ones where I love you one minute and can't stand you the next, and then I end up 5 minutes later liking you again. Those are the type of characters that I like. Now, in regards of, because it was like, speaking of Samantha, let's put it on her, because, you know, I love me some Kim Control. So they said in its 3rd season, it's being refined back to what the viewers, the ones who haven't already given up, that's me being one of them, want more of. Though he prefaces that by confirming season 3's writing is still clunky and some of the acting still unconvincing. IndieWire's Brent Travers also muses that in Just Like That, season 3 inches closer to the Sex and the City sequel these characters deserve, saying, quote, while still prone to irritating, unforced errors and lacking the courage to embrace the unknown in ways comparable to the original and necessary for the revival, and Just Like That, season 3 is relatively easy to enjoy, or at least harder to hate. So, while in Just Like That doesn't seem like a contender for 2025 TV show of the year, it's pleasing that there might be just a glint, a tiny little speckle, of Sex and the City finally coming through. And, yeah, so this to me feels like it's relatively good news. It got me hopeful, because I did say that, okay, you know, this is a 3 strikes you out type situation. If y'all can't get it together with this damn show, by the time the new season, like with the new season, I was like, I'm done. I'm not gonna like give this show a chance anymore. And it's because I love Sex and the City so much. I was rooting for them to get better. And while I'm hearing that it's a little clunky and stuff, I'm like, I'll take a little clunky over just hot mess, when that's what the previous 2 seasons was giving me. So whereas like I couldn't even finish season 2. So I'll jump in. And the fact that we get to see Carrie back with Aiden and all that other stuff. So if y'all care, if you have not watched all the seasons, the first 2 seasons are already on HBO or HBO Max, because it's going back to that. And then the premiere, you could watch it on HBO or HBO Max. So yeah. So I guess when I'm done with the show, I'll probably get around to watching it. So I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding And Just Like That? Are you still, for those of you who are still watching, are you excited to hear this news? Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, what are people saying? I was like, damn, I gotta go up. Hold on. I'm like, damn, how much did I miss? Are you talking about cheerleaders? You need male cheerleaders because it's very acrobatic. There is expectation to be more acrobatic and not just dance. The male cheerleaders are needed. I guess I throw them girls in the air. Hope he's getting his calcium. Oh, what calcium? What kind of calcium we talking about? Madonna does like to troll and push boundaries, but these are the 80s and 90s. Cannot be too wild. But when Madonna let the freakiness go, just so amazing. It's just like, and just like, oh damn, you still on Sex in the City? First two seasons, not so much. I mean, if you could stomach just like getting through it really quickly so you could watch season 3, because I don't know how season 3 starts off, where it's like, oh, well, do you need to have to watch these previous 2 seasons? The first 2 seasons are it's a lot to get through. First season is bearable. Second season, I'm just like, okay, I'm getting irritated by a lot of y'all and some of the decisions, especially the way Miranda was acting around Che. That was like my overall issue with the whole show. Like, I could tolerate everything else. Seema is definitely a good character. I just love what she gives with the show. Nicole Parker's character with her husband, they're a little too cookie cutter at times. It's like, I need y'all to get a little rough, like messy. So it's like, I don't know. But yeah, the show is like, it's all right. What would Sarah Jessica Parker be with her? Okay. Look, she's tried other shows and they didn't work out. And another thing I just recently read, she said that she reads 2 books a day. I'm like, girl, you don't do nothing else? How are you able to read 2 books a day? She must be a fast reader. Madonna plus Babyface. Bedtime Story is a beautiful album. Ray of Light is incredible. Madonna was just amazing, unbelievable. The music videos. You said there was a demo they did in 1997 called Never Love a Stranger that was part of the early Ray of Light sessions. Hold on, because I'm going to just let y'all just speak on the Madonna. So I'm glad to skip through these because there's a lot of comments. They said the problem is people are the characters age hate how it's being present. They have. Wait, am I missing something? Because I don't understand this post. But some people act like, oh, we talking about Sex in the City. Like you said, some people act like that people in their 50s are grandparents and should be knitting them. I mean, quiet as kept. There's some people in their 40s as grandparents. I'm like, it ain't my fault you had a child young or your child's having children. Are any of the original characters married? The only one who is married is Charlotte. She's the only one that's actually married. Carrie was, well, there'd be a spoiler if I tell you what happened to Big and why they're no longer together. So yeah, you probably have to watch it because what happened, the story of Big is in the opening of And Just Like That. I just remember that. And Miranda's not married to Steve because she went out and cheated and all of a sudden she wanted to be in a relationship with a non-binary person. So there was that. Patti LuPone. I just call her Patti LuPone. It's not even Patti anymore. I was like, okay, we got Rosie O'Donnell on the show and she losing her virginity on the show. I'm like, damn. Don't tell me you're going to be like the Susan Boyle of this show. He says Sarah should have been more economical, equitable, should have shared more of the bag like friends all got. And I think that that's what they were saying. The reason why Kim is not really here for SJP is because when she was doing financial negotiations for herself, that SJP was doing some messiness, I should say, behind the scenes. And I guess she just felt like she couldn't trust her after that. I think that Sharon Stone would make an excellent replacement. That's how Sharon Stone want to do TV. I just saw a recent video of Sharon Stone doing a shoot, and she was in her little pantsuit and strutting to "Hypnotized" by Biggie. I was like, okay, sis, and saying the lyrics. I'm like, let me find out you know Biggie Smalls. No, Sharon is nutty. I'm sure. Speaking of which, did y'all hear there was a story that's coming out about American Pie that they have a script for the final American Pie movie and they were going to kill off Stifler's mom? Since we talking about Jennifer Coolidge, Sharon Stone embodies the sex pot character of Samantha, but I like Jennifer Coolidge. I mean, and Sharon Stone's actually going to be in oh my god, what's that? Nobody 2. She's playing the villain. I was like, I hope it doesn't suck. Because I don't know, I'm not entirely 110% sold on that trailer, but I did love Nobody. Sharon Stone and Basic Instinct Forever. I kind of look. Why is nobody bringing up Sliver? That was another one that had me clutching my pearls. Sharon Stone is still bad after all these years. And you said kill off Stifler's mom. Well, look, that's the direct. I saw. I feel like I would rather y'all just kill off like one of the cast members. Like the regular friend group, or the people who were part of the friend group. You can kill off Tara Reid. That we can kill off, and then they could just all come back and just I'm like, yeah, kill Stifler's mom. That's such a cop out. But anyway, let's move on, y'all. And let's see where we're going because I gotta scroll on down. Okay. Let's talk about Monique. So I'm sure y'all remember, or maybe y'all don't, but I'm here to remind y'all. So apparently Monique got into it. Apparently she did an interview. I think it was it this year? With or maybe it was last year. I don't remember the exact date, but she did an interview with Shannon Sharp for his Club Shay Shay podcast, and she was talking about parenting and all this other stuff. And then her eldest son, Shalon, wound up getting on social media and basically blasting his mother for, I guess he was saying like, oh, she's, you know, wait, let me see if I actually have the quote. He said that she was facing a false narrative about her parenting. He basically said that she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. So that started a whole thing online. I think that she and Sidney got on the line. Hello, my sweet baby. You know how Mo is, and started talking about it and stuff. We were just like, okay, now y'all done dragged us in the group chat. It's some drama. We don't need to be a part of this. But the one thing I will say about Shalon that I'm gonna give it up to him is that he recognized that, you know what, I should have just called my mother. I shouldn't have said what I said. I apologize. And he was a man enough to get on social media and apologize to his mother. And they ended up mending things. But I do have the video of the apology. It is a bit lengthy, but I feel like when it comes down to the sincerity of it all and stuff, it's like we should celebrate the positive and as well as not sit up in here and just be all up on the negative. So hold on as I pull up the clip and we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
I want to start this off by showing my gratitude towards my family. The amount of patience and grace that they have all shown me, especially during times where I did not deserve it, is appreciated more than I can ever express in words. Making those videos a year ago was a betrayal against our family, and I have to take full accountability for it. Why I made the videos and how I was feeling at the time when I made them is irrelevant. I made them and I shouldn't have, period. My family did not deserve the backlash that they received from what I said. Having a life's resume with your family as the one in the family who simply just can't get right, and then finally doing what you're supposed to be doing, didn't give me the right to feel self-righteous when I felt like they didn't notice. My mother and Sidney were very justified to address my mental health condition at the time. I just simply didn't like it. Taking accountability can be hard if I allow it to be. Bottom line, I was wrong, and I shouldn't have said any of what I said. I should have just kept my mouth shut and called my mother. Having that family discussion was hard, and it felt like I spiritually got jumped, but at the end of the ass whooping, my family did pick me up and give me a hug. The love my mother has for her family and the way that she loves life is a testament to her husband. It's a very humbling experience when your little brothers have a valid reason to want to punch their older brother in the face. But it was my brothers who had the idea for us to have the conversation in person, which would prevent me from running from it. And even after they heard all the shit I put our mother through, they still gave me a hug, told me they love me, and then we laughed for the rest of the weekend. Who they are as men and who they are becoming as men is also a testament to the caliber of man Sidney is and has always been since I've known him. My mother wakes up every day with a smile on her face and nothing but joy to give. And I take full accountability once again for taking that relationship away from my children. Now, watching her take pride in making my son's baby food from scratch, to baking chickpea chocolate chip cookies with my daughter, to being with me the first time my son went underwater in the pool, makes me so happy to have been so wrong before. Life does have a way of showing up for you, even when you don't want it to. Making the decision to go no contact with my family hurt me more than I could have ever imagined, which in turn trickled down to me not being the best man, father, and future husband that I could be for my family. For those that use my words as a way to further a narrative that my mother is difficult to work with, that her husband is controlling, or that she is anything like the character that she portrayed in Precious, I also apologize to my mother for the things that you said about her. If it wasn't for me running my mouth, y'all wouldn't have ran yours. For those that left comments telling me that at the time I should not have been saying what I was saying, I appreciate you for holding me accountable. Whew. I owe it to my family to make this apology public due to the fact that I made our family business public. Though the road to family redemption is hard, I'm looking forward to it. For those that showed me support at the time, but also put up prayers for us to work it out, thank you. Now, these are some receipts that I'm very happy to share. Thank you for listening.
Hold on, let me pause that before. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me turn on the sound. Well, we'll let the baby stuff run. I was like, you know what? I love the fact, I love them for real. I love the fact that he said this. He was man enough to be like, you know what? I should have just, and this is what I be saying to people all the time when it comes to drama with the family. Stop putting y'all stuff on social media. Yes, it's good grist for my mill because then I got something to talk about. But for the most part, it's like, if you got an issue with your parent, if you was feeling a way about what she said in the interview, then you should have just picked up the phone and called her. You had her number. You could have just had a conversation. I feel like Monique would have been somebody who would be willing to, humble herself to listen to you, and y'all come to an understanding. So with all that being said, I'm glad that y'all, that you and your mother worked it out, that, she can actually be the mother to you that you want her to be, and then she can spoil her grandchildren. Well, you talking about she know how to make baby food from scratch. I'm like, let me find out. Isn't it pretty much like you could put it in a blender and like mash it up or something? I don't know. But so congratulations to y'all. I'm glad that y'all worked the thing out, and that because I just feel like that everything shouldn't always be negative all the time. I don't like when families and stuff fight. So when people are ready to come around and be man and woman enough to work it out and not be letting, other things of people come between them and stuff, and they can actually come together and work out their differences, I always want to, celebrate that. So I want to hear from y'all on this latest story. Whatever your thoughts are on this, let me know in the comments down below. Like before now, I get to y'all comments. Let me make sure that I close out all the windows I have before we get to the next story. Okay. He said, blessings to Mo. Glad she is back with her child. Agreed. He said, Mo gave Shannon the blueprint for success. Child, don't even get me started. Remember when she told him to leave them little girls alone? And look at him now. I heard he was supposed to do some type of like a tour. Because this seems to be the thing now. Now, if you're a successful podcaster, which I can't wait to get to that place one day, where it's like when you're a really big podcaster, then you can start doing tours at like comedy clubs or whatever the case is, and you can put on a little show. I got some ideas. That's something I definitely see myself doing down the road. So he was supposed to have something like that. I don't think it was called for the Club Shay Shay thing. I think it was for another show that he does. But he was supposed to do a tour, and he canceled it because of all the drama that's been going on. You already know the grape allegations and things. So he canceled that. But she tried to tell you something. You need to listen to these women. Black women are soothsayers, especially when you're a woman of a certain age. You should have listened. And now look at you. Career all messed up, sort of. I mean, he's still running around here like nothing happened. But for the most part, he still got to, be easy with certain situations. So, yeah, she knew the industry. And then she tried to tell him. But, these men, they think, oh, I'm in the club with them white. No, them white boys can get away with all that stuff. You cannot. So I don't know why y'all be thinking just because you hang out with a certain demographic that you're gonna be handled the same, get the same treatment as they do. That's not how that works. Ask the diddler. And what he going through right now. People talk about Sidney, but those two as a duo, Sidney, I was about to say Sidney, and as a Prescott, we talk, but I forgot Sidney, her husband. Sidney and Mo keep winning. They got that Netflix settlement, and they say it was big, which is probably why she ain't got to work as much. And then she ended up doing that movie that was on Netflix with Lee Daniels, which was which actually T.S. Madison helped that happen with them too, getting back together and working out their differences and stuff. Shalon, he should have cleaned up. There you go. Quiet as it's kept, Prince Harry can learn a thing or two. Well, my question is this. Do y'all think Prince Harry is trying to reach out to the family, but because he spoke too much and he was behind Meghan Markle, that the family is like, okay, you wouldn't put our business on these streets, that's unforgivable. So maybe he's trying to make amends, and the family is just like, nah, we good. We don't trust you. We don't want, we don't want to make amends with you because you done fucked up the thing. So, but at least he came humble and ashy. Since you out here talking about that, he should have cleaned up. He said it took a while to put this out, or maybe it was because it took a while for them to make amends. Mm-hmm. Whenever I run into Monique, she has always been humble and anti-movie star, and I absolutely adore her for being real in real life. Let me find out, Monique. Can you imagine if she actually saw me talking about her? We've had celebrities slide up and watch this show and jump up in the comments every now and again. And I'll be gagging. I'll be like, ooh, I'm glad I ain't say nothing, nasty. And I've been thinking that sometimes because I think I just be sitting here on the camera just running my mouth and nobody's watching. I be thinking that in my head sometimes. Because if I start thinking about everybody that's watching and paying attention, I will go nuts. Not Club Shade. It's also Mo has been honest that she was not around like she was supposed to. And I think a lot of people seem to forget. And I'm not excusing the behavior, but I totally understand when women in general, or particularly Black women, but mostly women, go through this thing where they want you to be able to hold down a job. You got to work. You got to do this. You got to do that. And then there's that guilt that comes with it. Men can sit and work all kinds of hours and nobody goes in on them as hard as they do women. But some women got to have no choice. If you're a single mother or if you are a talent and you have a dream and you have these things, and yeah, I got a kid, I have to do what I got to do so I can be successful. Whoopi Goldberg went through the same thing with Alex. And she talks about it. And I think that's probably why she gives Alex everything. Like, I think that's why, in so many ways, I feel like Whoopi overcompensates because there's that guilt there of where she had to go out and she was pursuing the dream as a comedian and as an actress and being in the theater circuit and all the other stuff and pounding the pavement and having to sacrifice a lot for her child. And I think that Monique dealt with the same thing. It was like, yeah, she had her younger kids later, those kids with Sidney later on. And I think that because she was already established, she didn't have a problem bringing in and doing what needed to be done with, she could relax more. Whereas when you're first in it, then it's like, okay, I got to make all these sacrifices. So I got to miss a couple of birthdays. I got to miss a Christmas and a Thanksgiving. And I don't mean to do it, but if I don't take this gig, motherfucker, you ain't eating. It's like, it's no shade. It's just, I got to provide because I'm not just providing for, my kid. Some people are actually taking care of like their parents and stuff too. Like a full-on entourage. But anyway, let's move on, y'all. Child, and speaking of, now, it's nice that, Monique and her son have patched things up. But one group that I'm saying, like, who may never patch things up, let's talk about this Patti LuPone, because that's what we're going to call her now, Patti LuPone, and Audra McDonald. So apparently Audra McDonald recently did an interview with Gayle King, and that interview is supposed to come out next week. But of course, because they want to trend, y'all are smart, CBS, they want to, get the, people talking and people like me talking about it. So I have the clip, and we'll get to that in a second. But it's like, yeah. So now, Patti LuPone, for those of you who are not familiar, I did post the video, separate a little segment of this story on the YouTube channel and on my other social media platforms. So if you're not aware of like everything that's going on, you can check out the full breakdown there, but I'm going to give you the cliff notes. So basically, Patti LuPone did an interview with the New Yorker and she went on everybody. She went on her ex Kevin Kline. She went in on Glenn Close because she didn't get the role of Sunset Boulevard. And it's like, ma'am, you act like you entitled to every damn role under the sun. So she went in on her for that. Remember, she also dogged Madonna for Evita and had a problem with that, still do. But then all of a sudden, I believe when she did another interview, because she read her in Hot Ones too unnecessarily. And then in a recent interview, I think they were trying to say like, oh, she has no ill will towards. I'm like, okay, girl, you was a lie. But so she went in on Madonna with that. And then she's made a lot of nasty comments. Keisha Lewis, she decided to drag her because you was making comments about Hell's Kitchen. You were at the time doing a play with Mia Farrow. Next door, you can hear the cues and everything through the wall. What the issue should have been was, instead of you getting mad and calling them, telling them if they could change their cues around, what you should have did was call the building people and ask them, could they insulate these damn walls? Because why is it that these old buildings, I'm hearing all this music and stuff coming next door and it's messing our show up? So, and I've always told you, a lot of the theaters in New York are just old. The chairs, the whole setup, the wall, like they need to kind of re-up with the times, but a lot of times they don't. But if y'all out here charging people $1,000 a damn ticket to see Othello, then y'all should be using some of that damn money to insulate the walls. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. So with all that being said, and then she went in on Keisha Lewis. She also went in on Audra McDonald's because, well, we didn't even know that they was having a beef. And she was like, oh, what a beautiful day, you know, all that other stuff when they asked her about Audra. And according to Audra said, just like how we didn't know that she had a beef with her, she said she ain't know either. So I do have the clip. Hopefully I do not get demonetized because I'm showing this clip is off of Instagram. So CBS go windmill on them. I'm just, you know, I don't make the news. I just report it. So we're going to play this clip and then we're going to come back and talk. Please hold.
We're sitting here today. There's a New Yorker piece. Patti LuPone says about you, Audra is not a friend. Friend with a D. I know there's a lot of back and forth. Were you surprised to hear that said about you from her? And I'm not trying to start a Broadway dust up here, but I'm wondering how you're processing.
I mean, I don't, if there's a rift between us, I don't know what it is. That's something that you'd have to ask Patti about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I haven't seen her in about 11 years just because I've been busy just with life and stuff. So I don't know what rift she's talking about, but you'd have to ask her.
Yeah, so that's pretty much all she said in the whole situation. I know it was like, look, she was a class act. She was being diplomatic and everything about it. She probably doesn't even know. But according to the article, it said the two actors' alleged feud was brought up as LuPone was reflecting on an incident that occurred last fall when she was on Broadway in The Roommate. LuPone filed a complaint as noise from the musical next door, as I said, Hell's Kitchen, could be heard in her theater. Hell's Kitchen Tony winner Keisha Lewis posted a video slamming LuPone's behavior as bullying and racially microaggressive. Lewis added that LuPone was rooted in privilege and called out LuPone for labeling a black show loud, and McDonald liked Lewis's video. And then that's when LuPone decided to put her career up as, you know, collateral up against Keisha Lewis's. Oh, you've only done a couple. I've done 30 or whatever. She was like, and then called her a bitch and all this other stuff. And it's like, that's another microaggression. And I'm gonna tell you why. See, this is why it's like when people of color, we have to explain things to y'all because I think a lot of times when you're so, your head's up in the clouds or sometimes up your ass, to be more specific, a lot of times you don't get to notice that some of the things you say can be perceived as racist and microaggressive, even if it is not your intent. And what she needs to realize is like, yes, first of all, we already know like Broadway is not necessarily 110% welcoming when it comes to black people being afforded the same opportunities as their white counterparts. So yes, with Keisha Lewis, even though she was in the original Broadway rendition of Dreamgirls, has only done 10 productions, you can versus 29, we could see how it's like you were afforded more opportunities. You're a white woman. So yeah, there's that. Keisha Lewis there's not a lot of shows where they're going to put a black woman at the forefront. Hence why I feel like it is a game changer that you have someone like Audra McDonald leading a show like Gypsy, which was normally a show that was casted around white people. But they've changed it up and have black characters in there in the forefront, and she got a nomination for it. I believe that she is the most nominated artist. So she supersedes you, ma'am. And then maybe that's what you're mad about. So also, when you go and say, oh, it's too loud, black people have always been pegged with being loud. So yeah, that's a microaggression. So when these things are pointed out, and instead of you listening, you should have addressed it then. You wait till you do this New Yorker article, and you got the nerve to call somebody, the unlitigated gall to call somebody a bitch. I was like, first of all, I would have channeled my inner Queen Latifah and been like, who you calling a bitch? Because that'd be the last bitch you ever utter out your damn mouth before your lips start beating you to the hospital. But then again, if a black person goes to put their hands on a white woman, she can use some crocodile tears, she get in her Karen bag, and then all of a sudden she's the victim, and then the black girl is the perpetrator and the aggressor, and her career is ruined. But hypothetically, we gonna slap you. We're not really gonna do it. So they did say that Patti, LuPone, and McDonald worked together in 2007 on the LA Opera's production of Rise and Fall of the City of Mahogany, and in 2000 for the New York Film Philharmonic's concert version of Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. So yeah, oh yeah, she was asked about what she thought of McDonald's production of Gypsy, but I do feel like a lot of times when Patti LuPone talks, it does come from a place of entitlement, that she acts like that everything is on her and she owns everything and all this other stuff. So that's all I gotta say on this. I'm gonna definitely keep abreast of this story as it develops, to see if Patti comes out and says anything, but I hope she doesn't, because I'm like, girl, you said what you said, and you should not be surprised that Audra is gonna come back and respond to your negative, unnecessary comment. It'd be more interesting to hear what Keisha gonna say, but Keisha probably like, I ain't paying that broad no mind. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to what Audra had to say? I know some people, oh, wait, hold on. Let's read what the comments said before we get off. So Rosie O'Donnell was in the comments and said, Plasma from RuPaul's Drag Race said, classy and brilliant. I was like, what other celebrities were there? Another one person, see, this is why I was going to say, Gail, you didn't have to over-explain yourself, but clearly you did, because the person in the comments said, Gail, you knew what you were doing when you asked that question. Audra's response is just grace defined. She's drinking her water and minding her business. That pays her. But here's the thing. So if somebody says something about you, I'm not supposed to address the elephant in the room if I'm a reporter. It's like, I'm not here to try, and you have to preface it by saying, I'm not here to like poke a bear and instigate and start no mess, but this story is going around. Patti LuPone said this about you. Do you have anything to say on it? Why can't she ask that? So I hate when people jump in the comments, because I was like, yeah, you ain't had that. Apparently she did, because then you get comments like this in the page, on the page. So Broadway Black said, and that's how it's done, with grace and a smile. Queen of Broadway for so many reasons, not just on the stage. So yeah, she said, another person said, I don't know her energy, our queen. So another person said, it's giving sorry to this man energy, and I love it. Another person said, Audra is a class act. Had she chosen to be petty, I wouldn't have been mad either. Oh, we have Rolanda Watts. Remember her? She jumped in the comments. She said, a true lady is baited by no one. Great answer. So yeah, I'm sure she knows what the beef is. And you can tell by the body language that Audra, hold on, let's go back. Oh wait, I closed it, but I don't feel like opening everything back up. So look, it's better to just, in this channel, you already know, I'm not the type that does the when they go low, we go high. I told you, whenever they go low, I will go circle the 5 rings of hell. So that's usually how I am. But everything, I'm just going to take the Michelle Obama approach. And I'm just glad that Audra decided to take that approach instead of cussing her ass out, because that's exactly what petty ass would want. So I want to hear from y'all in regards to this whole situation. I say, good job, Miss Mama. Let me know in the comments down below. Petty Great LuPone. Well, you have one was like Patti LuPone, and then we got Petty Great LuPone, and her shading that you can't understand the lyrics. Oh yeah, there was that too. It said Patti is just jealous because people like Audra more. Well, Audra's a good. I've always liked Audra McDonald. I knew her from TV. But another thing too, the only time I didn't even know Patti LuPone was a Broadway actress. I knew her when she was the mother on Life Goes On. That's where the first I saw her at. I didn't even know her from Broadway until years later when I started seeing like, yeah, she was a Broadway star and people were talking about it. Or she would come on certain shows like The View and promote some show she was in. Why you mad though? Why you mad though? Shout out to Morgan McMichaels. I just saw her the other day on the Roscoe's episode. Anyway, let's move on, y'all. And let's talk about Smokey Robinson, who is out here. He's clapping back at his grape accuser. He said, oh no, you're not going to sit about here and accuse me of doing things to you that I didn't do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm suing. And yeah, so there's that. So now let's move on. So this says Smokey Robinson has filed a $500 million cross complaint. Now you know this lady ain't got no damn $500 million cross complaint for defamation and elder abuse against the 4 former housekeepers who sued him with claims of sexual harassment and rape earlier this month. Now shout out to Rolling Stone for this story, by the way. The Motown musician, who's 85, said the former housekeepers considered with their lawyer to make slanderous statements conspired. I was like, wait a minute, I know that ain't the right word. Conspired with their lawyer to make slanderous statements against him and his wife at a press conference on May 6th. Robinson claims the women and their lawyer fabricated the claims to extort money. According to the new filing, Robinson and his wife treated the women as extended family. During their employment, giving them autonomy in their jobs and substantial gifts, including money for dental work. Oh, he gave y'all money for new teeth, clothing, vacations, concert tickets, and even a car in one case. Well, I hope you kept the receipts for all of that. But then again, some people be like, okay, so you gave me all this, but that still gives you license to allegedly do the things that I'm accusing you of. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I'm just playing devil's advocate. The depths of plaintiff's advice and greed knows no bounds. During the very time that the Robinsons were being extraordinarily generous with plaintiffs were concocting an extortionate plan to take everything from the Robinsons, even over and above what they were freely given, and wrongfully destroy the Robinsons' well-built reputations, the 19-page complaint obtained by Rolling Stone says. The filing says that while the women and their lawyer, John W. Harris, were protected while making claims in a lawsuit, the litigation privileges did not extend to the media circus allegedly created at the press conference. Harris and his law firm are named as defendants in the new lawsuit. Harris did not immediately reply to a request for comment, saying untethered to the complaint, John Harris professed to the media in attendance that Mr. Robinson is a serial and sick rapist, the new cross complaint states. Plaintiffs may be able to make slanderous statements in a legal pleading for now, but they are not entitled to do so in gratuitous, self-serving press conferences. According to Robinson's filing, one of the housekeepers deleted text messages and photos from a phone belonging to Robinson's wife, Frances Robinson. Still, the filing includes some purported texts. In one, a housekeeper invites Smokey into their son's graduation dinner. In another text to Robinson dated February 19, 2020, attached as an exhibit, a housekeeper allegedly wrote, "Happy birthday, God bless you, have a wonderful birthday, love you." The complaint also includes a redacted photo showing Frances Robinson with one of the plaintiffs on vacation in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. The only sinister acts that occurred here were those of plaintiffs and their counsel by slandering the Robinsons' good names and reputations, the new cross complaint states. Now, in a related motion filed on Wednesday, Robinson and his wife asked the court to strike the woman's complaint and order them to refile it with their legal names, not Jane Doe pseudonyms. Well, I did say, you want to know something? Y'all out here talking about that this man did this, and this to you. Then why not put out your name? I don't think it's an intimidation tactic. I do feel like that you should just come out and just be like, you know what? This man did what he did. I'm not going to hide as a damn Jane Doe. Or is that a problem if somebody doesn't do that? The allegations in the complaint were so far removed from the truth that the Robinsons cannot identify which Doe is whom. For instance, the Robinsons expect the facts will show that two of the plaintiffs are sisters, one inviting the other to work for the Robinsons during a time that she now claims she was already being SA'd. Parties in California civil action are allowed to use pseudonyms if they can demonstrate that proceedings with real names can result in a specific harm, such as retaliatory physical or mental harm. The potential harm must be such that it creates an overriding interest that outweighs possible prejudice to the opposing party or the public's interest in knowing a party's identity. In the lawsuit filed May 6 in Los Angeles, the four-member housekeepers alleged Robinson isolated them in his homes in the San Fernando Valley and Las Vegas and repeatedly forced them into sexual contact without consent. The first alleged incident took place in 2007. Each woman alleges they were raped. In the lawsuit seeking $50 million in damages, including claims for SA, sexual battery, false imprisonment, and gender violence. Saying, quote, obviously no amount of money can compensate these women for what Mr. Robinson subjected them to, but given the gravity of Mr. Robinson's despicable and reprehensible misconduct that is further detailed in the complaint, this amount is clearly warranted. This is what lawyer John, it's like, it's funny. No amount of money could compensate for what he did, but we want your money though. That's what it's giving. Now, 3 of the Jane Doe said they were unwilling to report the alleged abuse because they were afraid of losing their jobs. They also cited possible adverse outcomes related to immigration status. They were intimidated by Robinson's well-recognized celebrity status and his influential friends and associates. So Robinson's lawyer, I should say, by the way, Christopher Frost, previously said the lawsuit was based on false allegations. So yeah, that's the latest on this story right now. Of course, I'll be keeping abreast of the story as it develops, but this dropped yesterday. It was like, we was in the middle of the show when it came out, and it was one of the topics that I did want to bring up, but I forgot to because I was trying to put a show together, and I was like, I knew it was something I was missing. So we did it today. So yeah, I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you believe these allegations between Smokey Robinson, or do you believe it's just like we're in an era now of it's a shakedown that everybody all of a sudden y'all just going down a laundry list of black men that y'all be like, okay, this one did this one let's go and try to suck out his money and steal from him and all this other stuff, even if he ain't doing anything. But this is the latest, so we'll talk. So I definitely will keep abreast of this story. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You know, I hate the damn spring because I'm always like, it's always something making me itch. It's like allergy season, and you always feel like bugs is crawling on you, and it's just weird. And then earlier, I'm mad because, and I meant to mention this, but earlier in the show, before the show even went online, I had a hot dog and I got the mustard on my damn shirt. And I had to go, oh yeah, if I was to move myself up or pan the camera down, you could see the mustard stain. I was like, I was so mad, and I was like, I would have had to scrounge to find a shirt real quick. And it was like, of course the mustard was going to get on my clothes. Why wouldn't it? But anyway, it said, I found out Patti was in Broadway when McDonald was being considered for a video. Just like she wanted Sunset Boulevard and had a whole attitude when Glenn Close got it. It's like, everything is not just because, I mean, like, you, girl, when you want to be starring in something, write it. You mad at Andrew Lloyd Webber for picking 2 other women over you. All right, y'all. So let's move on and let's talk about Ryan Phillippe. And I don't know if y'all could probably transfer way back, but remember back in the day, or maybe y'all don't. Ryan Phillippe was on a little show called One Life to Live, where he played a character who was like, I think it was like the first gay character that they had on the show. And he said that he had trepidations, I think, when he got the part, his parents wouldn't even talk to him and all this other stuff. And when you look at a picture of him, on the left is what he recently looks like, on the right is what he used to look like. He looks the same, just older. At least he still look good. Shout out to him. And I know his son Deacon is an actor. And there's this show, damn, I forgot what it's called. It's on Prime Video. I think his son is on the show. He's on the show too, but I think it's they're on the show with the kid from Love Victor. He played Victor, Michael Cimino. So they're on that show because I remember seeing something or another. He was in that. But anyway, so to get to the story, he's admitting that he has some fears about playing a homosexual teenager on One Life to Live. So Ryan Phillippe admitted in a new interview with People magazine that part of him was afraid to accept the role of Billy Douglas on their daytime soap opera One Life to Live in the early 90s. The character was the first gay teenager in daytime television history. Phillippe played Billy for a year on the show and said it was a real profound experience. He said, quote, I was so young and there was elements of me that were afraid because it was such a different time. Adding that people close to him also advised him to turn down the role and discourage him from accepting the part. He said, quote, I think there were some fears associated with the point in time that we were at it being before so many walls and ceilings have been broken in that regard. But I know that any fears that anyone had about me doing it immediately went away once I saw the reaction that it got from the people who viewed it. And that would be mostly the queer audience, because here's the thing. I understand, like, in the perfect world and in Hollywood, it's like, oh, don't do it, because look, they told a lot of people not to do Queer as Folk. They told a lot of people not to do a lot of these queer-based shows, movies, and that sort of thing that were groundbreaking in the 90s and the 2000s. But what you have to realize is that, yeah, while those people are advising you not to do something because they're out of fear that your career is going to be over, which is an ongoing thing that you do have people behind the scenes, casting directors, agents or whatever will tell you that. When people saw that character on TV, it resonated with them because it's like, I've never seen something like this represented on TV in a positive way. It's kind of like when I watched My So-Called Life, seeing Wilson Cruz up there as the character that he was, I felt like I'd never seen something like that before because it was a queer person, somebody who was queer in real life, a person of color who was doing this show, someone who has got who's a little flamboyant, and a queer person of color, like I said, who is representing a community that has never been represented before. So those are like groundbreaking moments. Now it's like this, you shake your leg and there's a queer character on TV. So it's got, I wouldn't say it's gotten completely better. It's gotten much better. But back in the day, we just took whatever we could when it came to queer representation. And whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, we took what we got. Because then when you take what you get, and you see more people respond to it, the characters will get better. So it says the actor said that the feedback from One Life to Live viewers about his role as Billy was almost instantaneous as fan mail started pouring in. He remembers hearing from fans who had never seen someone represent me in any entertainment before in my life. He would also get mails from parents saying, watching this show on my lunch break gave me a way to connect with my LGBTQ child. As the job progressed, I realized how important it was for some people. And I was only 17 years old, so you don't really have a sense of that. It was such a different time, but I very much matured through having had that experience and seeing the impact that it had for others. So it was like, once you get out of your own head of like, okay, the fears and stuff because of what people are chirping in your ear and stuff, and maybe it's your own internalized homophobia and you getting into it. It's kind of like, I forget what movie it was. Was it Chasing Amy? Because Ben Affleck mentioned something about that where he had kiss a guy and he was like, you know what, I kind of wish I could do that over, because he said, I don't know if it was my internalized homophobia or something at the time, but it was just like at the time of the way it was, as I did the kiss or whatever, but I really wish, like, based on what I know now, and I think it's because, and they haven't said it, I think Ben and Jen have a non-binary child like Jennifer Lopez does. But so him having somebody in their family that is on the queer spectrum, it opens your eyes to wanting to be more understanding. And of course, being in Hollywood, like you're exposed to a lot. Not saying that they don't have homophobes that work in Hollywood, even though Hollywood has a lot of gays that work in Hollywood. But I think he was saying like, yeah, I wish if I knew then what I knew now, or what I knew now, I would take it back and I wouldn't be that negative and I would do it over. Like maybe it was my own internalized homophobia and I was working through that. So maybe this is also what Ryan Phillippe was dealing with as well. So, and it took him getting that fan mail for him to be open-minded and understand that, you know what, I may have been uncomfortable because I was worried about what other people think, but once they saw the character and it's like you start reading those letters and people are like, thank you for, being that representation, because we don't have that. And at the end of the day, I always say like art, music, TV, movies, any kind of representation that shows queer people, I think it does open up hearts and minds. And not only just for us seeing ourselves on TV, but that person who may have shunned their kid because, oh, well, I was raised that it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, or whatever the case is. But then when I saw your character, it kind of been like, you know what? Now, because of the writing and your performance and everything, it opened my mind up to wanting to reconnect with my queer child. And there have been many shows and movies that have done that. So kudos to you, Ryan. I am a Ryan fan. Although I would have loved to have seen him be in the new I Know What You Did Last Summer, but he did, like Helen. So I want to, so I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Ryan Phillippe had to say? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I watched 54 last weekend. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. You know what? I had a feeling. I watched Cruising again. I was watching that last night, but then it was watching me because I fell asleep, and I didn't even know I fell asleep until I woke up at like 5 a.m. and I was like, my TV's still on. Like I did not know I fell asleep at all. Yeah, I'm sure y'all have had one of those days where it's like you sleep and then you didn't even realize you fell asleep until you wake up. Did Ben Affleck say he had internalized homophobia? Is he a part of the community? He did say that. And it was, I think, on a recent interview, he said he had internalized homophobia based off of, I think that's what he called it, but I don't think that's what it was. I just think that he was saying that he wished he would have handled that man-on-man kiss that he did. I was trying to remember, it was a Kevin Smith movie that he did it in. And he was talking about how he had I think it was, what was his name? Jason Lee, I think it was, that he went and had the kiss in the scene. And he was like, I wish I would have handled that a little bit better than I did when I did that rollback. I mean, he did the kiss, but I think he said I would do it over because I wanted to make it come across a little more convincing. So that's what he was talking about. Reminds me of the studio calling all of Ryan's gay storylines from the movie. Oh, yeah. I remember when they cut that. First of all, I went to the movies to see 54 just because I was hoping that them scenes was going to be in that movie. And I was hoping that Studio 54, the movie, was going to be like Studio 54, the stories that I heard. Because I wasn't even born when Studio 54 was around. So I wanted to see them really get hedonistic with that whole world. And they didn't. They kind of PG-13 did. I mean, I love the soundtrack. I think I'm trying to remember where I went. I went over there, I'm trying to remember the theater. There was a theater that was over by, in the East Village that I went to go see it. Because back in those days, I was going to a lot of the art house theaters and watching a lot of queer-centric films, like Boy Culture and Punks and a lot of those films. They said there was and I saw Boy Culture in the movies. I love that movie. That and I actually went to go see Not Another Gay Movie. I saw that in the theater too. I could not believe the stuff they put in that movie. I was gagging watching that in the theater with a bunch of other homosexuals. It said there was a gay kiss in the director's cut of it. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that stuff online. I've seen the cut scenes. It's all over YouTube. So that's why I saw it. And I had a thing for Breckenmeyer when I was younger. I was like, I always had a little thing for Breck. Even when he was in that horrible ass Freddy's Dead movie. Oh boy. Child, let's get into this mess. Wait, how many more topics we got? All right, y'all. So we got 5 more topics left before the end of the show. If you have not already, please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll also be putting in timestamps at the end of the show once the live stream is over. So for those who watch the playback, there will be some timestamps put in so you can just go right to the topics instead of the banter, because we was bantering a lot today. All right, so now without further ado, let's get into this mess, because apparently Jess, not Larious, wants some attention. So let's give it to her. So she's come under fire recently over comments made towards the transgender community during a recent interview that she did with influencer Lene Vinay on The Breakfast Club. So Lene was up in here talking about being in a relationship or whatever. So yeah, when she was on The Breakfast Club, she's, for those who are not familiar with Lene Vinay, I called her I said she reminded me of Michonne from The Walking Dead, because she was giving that with her overall aesthetic, the look, and all the other stuff. So basically, she was discussing the ideal characteristics she looks for in a potential partner, and said she wants a partner who is socially and politically conscious. Then, which I'm like, yeah, anybody should want that. You should be somebody who is socially and politically aware. When I'm in a relationship with somebody, it's yeah, sex is great, but I need to know what you stand for in regards of politics. What do you stand for socially? What do you stand economically? What do you stand in regards of your religious beliefs and all this stuff? I want to get to know you as a person. I don't want to just see somebody having this one dimension type personality. But then some godforsaken reason, because Jess is bored and she a little slow, short bus slow, to the point where they need to get that bitch a helmet and put her in the back of the little short ass cheese bus, she decides to go and assert talking about uteruses and babies. I'm like, bitch, what are you talking about? What does this even have to do with the conversation at hand? Hence why you got a baby but no baby daddy. But according to her, she said, I wanted a kid. Well, good. Now where the daddy at? So now we got the clip. courtesy of Kevin Ortega Rojas. I'm going to play the clip over there from him because I was looking all over the place. I was like, I'm not going to sit here through no YouTube video and have to deal with ads or the Breakfast Club coming down on copyright, whatever. So we're going to use Kevin's stuff and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
I'm not saying that you got to live, breathe, die, fight the power, but you do have to have some things ingrained in the way that you move about your day, period, to understand that the work never stops. So we just got to find that balance.
And for you, I want somebody who knows that women can have babies.
Oh, okay.
Only women can have babies. I just want to let you know that.
Interesting. There are other people who can have babies.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if they have a uterus, they can have babies, but they just might not identify as women.
Okay.
Those are two different things. Like you can be biologically female, but you can't be biologically woman. Because woman is a gender construct, a social construct. But if you got a uterus, yeah, you can have a baby.
Yes, that's the point. If you have a uterus, you can have a baby.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we agree on that. So I'm not.
And of course, she had to come in and piss on that girl's cereal. She was sitting up in there just having a genuine, real intellectual conversation. And of course, when you got people that's just stuck on stupid, this is the stuff that they go and say. And of course, she stood 10 toes down on what she said, and we're going to get to that foolishness in a minute. But, child, let's read what the people in the comments said. So now one person said, shut that yuck mouth down real quick. Another person, oh, that was me. I said, Jess, he not Larious, always trying to read the dolls. Ain't no bitch whose voice deeper than Candyman is allowed to continue spewing their transphobic rhetoric, and also get no bitch that sound like Candyman when she opened her mouth, be my victim. Nobody can sit up in there and tell me anything about the female anatomy when in fact it's common sense. Like, and first of all, also, just because you have a uterus does not necessarily mean you can have children. There are women out here who are having issues with fertility. There are women who have to get hysterectomies. You cannot have a child. There are trans men who, yeah, they still got their pussy, regardless of how much testosterone they ingesting. They can have babies too. We've heard many of stories. I've come across many of stories of trans men who have had kids. So this whole thing about you thinking that because you're a woman that you're so insecure about whatever it is that you got going on with you, what does that have to do with the trans people over here? And for you to sit up in here and say all of this stuff, this is relatively dangerous because there are women out here who are mistaken as men all the time. And we've heard many of stories where, biological females have been unalived because some man thought that she was trans. There have been many of stories about this, and it's not that hard for you to educate yourself on that. Google is your friend, and it's free. I'm tired of having to point y'all out the free shit on this damn channel. Well, one person, dumbass, said, so who else has a uterus? And then Hope Giselle came in the comments, said, trans men and non-binary folks, it costs you nothing to be respectful or quiet. I think they meant quiet, but they spelled it wrong. Especially if the people haven't personally harmed you. And that's what I think is the overall conversation that we should be having. If I'm not bothering you, if I haven't come over and started no mess with you, why are you concerned with what trans women and people are just trans in general are doing? It's because this current administration has created this narrative that trans people are the enemy, immigrants are stealing your jobs, while you literally have a full administration looting our treasury, cutting Medicaid and Medicare, shutting down FEMA, cutting all kinds of aids and stuff that you need for people, like food stamps and Meals on Wheels, all of these things. But the mainstream is not going to tell y'all this. So, but I want to play this other clip that Kevin Ortega Rojas put out, because I've been saying this for the longest too. Like, when it comes down to it, this doesn't only affect trans people. Cis women, or as I should say, biological, because people feel like cis is a damn slur when it's actually a medical term. Cis, biological women are affected as well. So you thinking that, those others over there keep going after them? When they done with them, you don't think they're coming after you? Like, I don't understand, like, people who always try to, because we've been discriminated against our whole life, go mess with them over there. But like I said, when they done with you, you don't think they're coming back over here? It's the same thing when I was talking about them Latinos that I will vote for Donald Trump. Y'all went and voted for him and look at you. They out here like just jumping out of vans, like it's a scene out of Cops, grabbing up just random ass immigrants that's working and deporting y'all to freaking El Salvador without due process. So yeah, he had this other clip that I want to get to. Well, I want y'all to hear this, and then we'll come back and talk because it's a little story time. Please hold.
Messages for Jess Hilarious. Transphobia affects you too. Here's why. The Instagram comedian Jess Hilarious, who is currently serving as a co-host on the Breakfast Club radio show, is constantly throwing jabs at transgender people even when they are not the topic of discussion.
And for you, I want somebody who knows that women can have babies.
Oh, okay.
Only women can have babies. I just want to let you know that.
Interesting.
And this most recent incident isn't new. She's been doing this for years. And the reason is that she thinks transphobia will never affect her. But she's wrong. In June 2023, Michelle Dion Peacock, a 59-year-old Black woman, was murdered by her neighbor Tommy Wayne Earl. Earl approached Michelle in broad daylight and slashed her throat open with a straight razor outside of her home. Earl told police he harbored a long-standing grudge against Michelle because, in his words, she was a, quote, male acting like a woman. He thought Michelle was transgender. She was not. She was just an older Black woman who didn't fit his definition of femininity. And guess what, Jess? Neither do you. What you don't understand is that the transphobia you help to spread and normalize will be used against you and women who look like you, women who do not fit the Eurocentric, ultra-feminine expectation of what a woman should look like, act like, or sound like. So when the narrative that you help to push fully transform our society into a place where men can inspect our daughters' bodies because they suspect that they are transgender, because they are not seen as women enough, will you be proud of yourself? This message is for Jess Hilarious. Transphobia.
There's that. And then, of course, she decides to go on social media and says, my uterus is my superpower, signed a woman. And this was what she said like less than 24 hours ago. And, of course, people were jumping in the comments that were co-signing it. And it's like, okay, it's the same thing like I always say about men. Just because you got a dick between your legs does not make you a man. Being a man takes more than just having a penis and some damn balls. It takes also, what is your character? What is that type of person that you speak of? It's the same thing with a woman. Just because you got a pussy between your legs, it don't make you a woman. And so people need to understand that there's a difference between, you were born with the shell of a woman, but it takes more than just having those parts to be a woman. So if that's what you want to boil yourself down to, just the, what you got between your legs and the fact that you could bear children, good for you, sis. But I really feel like this is coming from a place of hurt. And she's bitter because she has been mistaken for a man. When you hear that deep ass voice that she be moving, through the world with a lot of testosterone flowing through them veins. What you mad at us for? You need to be mad at the fact that your parents had themselves a child that got a lot more male chromosomes than the female side. And we get that you're a woman and you want to push out a baby and all this other stuff, but all the homophobia and all that transphobic stuff is not necessary. And then Charlemagne, half a faggot ass up there giggling like a damn schoolgirl. It's like, man, you don't want them to come out and call you Charlemagne the goddess, sir. So it's cute or whatever that you can say what you want to say on your own page, but then also, and then the people want to co-sign. But I would say it's much more to you having a vagina and move and working parts in between your legs that that makes you a woman. There's much more to being what you are besides your genitalia. And just like I wouldn't want as a man to be resorted to just my genitalia. There's much more to me than that. And there's much more to being a man than just what's between our legs. So Jackie Beat jumped in the comments and said, yep, get ready to have your genitalia examined the next time you use a public restroom. Butch. Was it Butch or bitch? But she put Butch. My friend Just Do Dirty said, thank you for speaking up. Jess and women like her don't understand when they attack trans women, they are attacking themselves. Absolutely. And as I said, I was like, it definitely affects Jess because in the past she's been called the man. So this is projection on her part and she's butthurt. Another person said best words, currently meaning that she can definitely change. Well, hopefully she would, but I feel like she gets off on this. I feel like this gets her the most attention. First of all, she offers nothing to the Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa is the one with the brains over there, so people are more or less liking the fact of what she's saying over on that show. What does Jess Hilarious bring to the show? She can't even bring the funny. The bitch ain't funny. She about as funny as Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish combined. Not one thing come out that lady mouth, and I mean, unless you hear something with an awkward giggle like Charlemagne the Goddess. But other than that, it's like, bitch, you not funny. I don't know how you call yourself hilarious and nothing comes out your mouth that's a ha ha and a hee hee. Hee 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 ha. Hee 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 ha. None of that comes out of her. I probably dropped like 8 jokes in this whole situation, reading her ass down to the floor. And now you about to start up T.S. Madison because she's going to drag your ass the next time she get on Fag Talk. Because you always got trans people name in your mouth. We ain't even thinking about you. We mind, the queer community is out here minding the business that pays them. Trans people out here living their life, trying not to get murdered. And here you go trying to slide in just randomly a transphobic comment that ain't got nothing to do with what Miss Mamas had to say when she was having that conversation. When she was talking about what she looking for in a relationship. And also, you have to realize that when you're in relationships, not every woman wants to have a child. That doesn't make them less than a woman either. So yeah, the reference, another person said this isn't transphobia, it's stating science and facts. When are we going to acknowledge that this is also an attack on natural born women and it's still misogyny? Another person said, I find her exhausting. What do people say in response? Because I was confused. It said, this isn't transphobia, it's stating science and facts. When are we going to acknowledge that this is also an attack on natural born women when it's still misogyny? But how is it an attack on y'all? Nobody's attacking you, bitch. What are you talking about? I mean, I'm attacking you now by calling you a bitch, but how's it attacking you? When you saying that it's an attack on women, who's attacking you? Nobody's attacking you. The fact of the matter is, what we're saying is, because there are women out here who have masculine features, men are going to be out here, even if you were born a woman. There are women out here where sometimes I be looking at them and I be thinking they trans, come to find out they're a woman. And while it don't bother me no ways, there are ignorant people out here who are indoctrinated and who hear things from people in the social media space, particularly our current administration, who are going hard on attacking trans people and denying them that, gender affirming care, serving in the military, all these things. For some reason, I wanted to read the comments, but the damn thing is not open. It's just like rendering. So whatever. But, when they're done with them, like I said, they're going to come after you. These men don't know. They're ignorant. They go based off of some of the stuff they've been indoctrinated by. And if you end up being the cause of your own demise because of the ignorant stuff you out here spewing, don't be upset that you get what's coming to you because of the rhetoric that you've been out here spewing. So that's all that people are saying, is that yes, there are trans women not trans women, but there are biological women who are also affected. Stop thinking that just because you was born with a pussy that you're not going to be affected. These men don't know that. People out here ignorant. People out here crazy. So that's basically what they're saying. So yeah, that's all I got to say on this. I'm ready to move on to the next topic because I'll be here all day trying to break all this shit down. And people are allowed, you know what, you believe what you want to believe at the end of the day, but I'm just trying to give y'all some type of sense of intellect and just coming at it from a point of analyzation or analyzing. I don't even know if analyzation is a word. If it's not, I just made it up. So I want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts on this very tough subject in the comments down below. Hold on. They said they're dragging Kevin Rojas saying trans should be immediately death sentence. It's like, where did this hatred come from a decade ago? I just think the minute that trans people started asking for space, then all of a sudden everybody started going into this whole anti-trans tirade. I don't get it. When Trump got into office, the true racism and homophobia in America came out. I think it was always there, but I just feel like people decided to ride on that big ass back of his and to justify their racism. No shade, but a uterus without sperm is just okay. It's like, bitch, you need what I got between my legs to get you that baby. So you could talk about babies and this, that, and the third, but it's like, sis, it takes a man and a woman to make a baby. So it's going to take my dick going between your legs and shooting that sperm in your twat for you to be able to get that baby that you're talking about. So yeah, you can sit up and talk about uterus and things, but you can't make a baby by yourself. You are not Mary Magdalene. Why am I going off on the Breakfast Club? I just did a whole segment on why. You said Madonna. Oh, did she? Finally, her late ass. Oop, let me not. Well, look, she is late. This is like when I said to a friend of mine too. I said somebody else too when they went to go see Sinners. I was like, about damn time. And then I got on you because it took you forever to go see Final Destination Bloodline. From the pics, looked like she rented the theater, and I said, when I say movie night, I mean movie night. Sinners, Lilo and Stitch, and Final Destination Bloodlines. She went to go see all of those. Well, you actually can do that. You can rent out a theater. I remember when I worked at AMC. Damn, I just now remember this. I've met Justin Bieber before. I'm like, wait a minute. I remember this. I remember one time we were closing the theater, and Justin Bieber came in and rented out one of the theaters at the last minute, acting a damn fool like a little kid. We gave him one of the theaters. I think it was like Theater 7 at AMC in Times Square. So he had the whole theater to himself. He had a security come downstairs and order him a whole bunch of food and things, and he got to watch the movie he wanted to watch. So it was like, yeah, it was like late at night. It was like the last show, so you could slide somebody in. It's not a big deal. I think he had just finished a show at the Garden, and they all knew he was there, and then TMZ tried to slide up in there. This is when it was like, yeah, TMZ were trying to come in and try to get you slipping and want to find out information or something. First of all, we loved our job a little too much to be out there spilling tea to the press. So I totally remember. I was like, yeah, I remember that. So yes, it makes perfect sense that Madonna will actually rent out a theater and do like, I'm gonna see Sinners, I'm gonna see Lilo and Stitch, I'm gonna watch. I'm like, you was watching all those movies, okay? I don't know why some people don't call it the studio and be like, can you send me a print? And then I'll just watch it in my house. But I guess some people just like, the theatrical experience. And I think you would want to experience that film on the big screen. Sinners, actually. All right, y'all. So now let's get into this story. So Timmy Bandsome, we talked about them the other day where there was a whole thing about BossMan DLow done slid up in Timmy's DMs, and Timmy went and decided to show the screenshots on social media, and people were dragging Timmy because they were like, well, this is the reason why a lot of times these down low men don't like messing with you sissies and punks, or a lot of you trans girls, because some of you trans girls do it as well, where y'all get a little something, somebody who's either successful or moderately successful slide up in y'all DMs, and instead of y'all just actually clapping your cheeks on the men's bean in private, y'all want to sit and post their personal business on social media for clout. And then you get people that are like, well, you ruining it for us, because it's like, well, first of all, not for me, because I would never subject myself to stupid as low as hunting somebody on no down low. That is not part of my ministry no more. I'm a lot more older and mature, and I love being a out and proud homosexual. So you're not gonna see me out here like doing stuff with closet cases because I want a little yum bouncy. I'd rather somebody who is comfortable in my skin. I'd rather that than me having to, have to duck and hide and do all that mess. Anybody got time for that? Why you up in here worrying about your career and all this other stuff? So yeah, now Timmy done took himself to social media. Shout out to Gay Magazine, because we're gonna actually go over there and I almost forgot how to do my own damn show. I was like, how do I get to the clip? Sometimes I just be running around like when you're trying to concentrate on the tea you're about to spill, and then you got to go to the clips. I'm a one-man show. So we're gonna go to the clip of what Timmy said, and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
I'm coming on TikTok to address the BossMan situation. BossMan DLow never messaged me. It was AI. It was edited. It was photoshopped. I did everything good with the video of him texting me because my homegirl, it was my homegirl's phone. He messaged a real female. She's a popular influencer that I hang out with. So I made it seem like he messaged me, but he never really messaged me. And I made a fake thread of me texting myself back. I know it sounds crazy, and I just did all this stuff on the internet for attention, but a bitch was bored. And I thought it was funny, but now I know it's not funny because I'm really fucking with this man's career and his money. I'm sorry, you guys. Y'all can bash me. Y'all can hate me. I really don't give a fuck. I'm coming on to...
Well, clearly you do, which is why you had to make this damn video. So,
What's up, Gay Magazine? What's the tea?
Now, you have gone viral with some of your commentary for like the Darius Cooks with the watermelon lube and all, but we want to ask, with BossMan DLow, he recently was outed today by another trans woman, trans feminine.
That person is not trans. That is a butch queen. By their own identity, that's a boy. His name is another one today. Oh, I've been traveling. I thought we were talking about Tommy Handsome. DLow does not have enough meat for y'all to be cheering him like that. The news leaked long time ago. Go ahead. What would you want to say?
What is your advice for this exposure culture, especially coming and supporting our trans sisters and trans men?
Here's my thing. I'm not going to talk about whether you exposing is right or wrong because girls do what they do because they do it. Make sure you're safe. Because what I know to be true is people will unalive you for their reputation. Even if the reputation you're showing is their real personhood, their reaction won't be the person that called them out. Their reaction will be on you. What's up, Gay Magazine? What's the tea?
Okay, so now let's go over to the comments because I think there's more. I think I didn't even look at the slideshow, but I do think that they probably have the slide with T.S. Madison giving her commentary too. But my thing is this. In my opinion, I don't like the outing because, yeah, God forbid you come across the wrong one and you end up dead in a ditch somewhere. That's something you got to worry about. And then number two, I'm not really big on the outing. I'm more or less, if you somebody that sit up in here and talk mess about gay people or trans people, like if you're out here being homophobic and transphobic, but on the low, I know you be taking loads in back rooms of nightclubs or in dark rooms or whatever the case is, or, you know, you like that dude with the 90 loads and the meth that's currently trending all over social media. Like if you was one of those, like I know you get down, but you out here spewing homophobia, then I'm exposing you. Those are the only ones that I have an issue with. So one person, child, people was not believing what Timmy Bandsome had to say. So one person said payment made and NDA signed. Another one said that wire was transferred. Another person said, well, Jerome Trammell said this: we understand you took the money to backtrack your statements. Another person said that payment came through. I ain't mad at your queen. Another person said ain't no check cleared. You wanted attention and it failed. Another person said all cash, the story is a key. Another person said, nah, that check deposited into his account. We ain't dumb. And another person said, Molly, you in danger, girl. So we'll just leave it there. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me read this one. Another person said, I think everyone could agree that this has been the messiest year for the LGBT community, and Pride hasn't even got her black car yet. Yeah, because Pride starts in like what? 2 days? 2.5 days? Because today's the 29th. So after the 31st, which is Saturday. I think Sunday, Sunday's the 1st, right? So that's when Pride starts. I'm wondering if Queen's Pride is this Sunday. I didn't even check the calendar to see like when Queen's Pride starts. I don't think they're gonna start on this like what is it? I don't think they're gonna start it on the 8th. I'm thinking it has to be the 1st. Like it would only make sense for them to do it that way. But anyway. But yeah, that was not a trans girl. When y'all went and said that, I was like, first of all, that wasn't even a butch queen. That was a femme queen. Because when you give him woman with the voice and everything, that is femme queen. That was nothing butch about Miss Mamas. So let's see what these other slides, and then we can get up off this.
So make sure that you're safe. At a time like this where we ain't got the police that care about the trans girls anymore. We don't have equality protections in place. So protect yourself. And also, baby, make sure if you're risking your life, it's worth the person you're risking your life for. Ooh. Y'all are risking your life for pieces of trade that we wouldn't let tie our shoes. His name is DLow. It's in the name, Shug. It's in the name. It's in the name.
But you know, BossMan DLow apparently just got exposed for messing around with one of our fans, one of the girls. What's your opinion on the exposure culture? Do you feel like it's actually helping our community, or do you feel like it's actually doing damage?
I think two things can be true at the same time, right? The first thing I want to touch on is it's amazing how the person that outed this rapper, allegedly, they identify as a man, a cisgender man, right, who happens to be gay. I'm so interested in where was the...
So make sure that you're safe. At a time like this where We ain't got the police that care about the trans girls anymore. We don't have equality.
The backlash and all of the critics about him outing this rapper. But when a trans woman expresses her interest, or when a trans woman talks about dating someone in the community, there's an uproar, and then there's outing culture, and there's all of these things. I think when I say two things can be true at the same time, I don't owe you anything to keep your secret. If I'm a part of it, it's my experience, and I'm entitled to share my experience. Now, what I will say is that these people, now is this a safe space?
No, of course it's a safe space. This is Gay Magazine, baby.
Y'all choosing the wrong girl.
Come on.
Listen, y'all don't bet.
Okay, so I did find the T.S. Madison one. Hold on, let's go over to that one, then we'll wrap this up.
T.S. Madison, Loud, Live, and In Color with Gay Magazine at DC Pride, honey. Yes, God be it.
As you know, there's been an exposure culture. You know, BossMan DLow was just exposed by a trans woman today. How do you feel about the DLow community and down low? Do you support? Do you have any insight?
This is the way that I feel. I personally feel that if a gentleman has done some ill things to you and have tried to get away with doing ill to you, don't let him sleep at night. Don't let that motherfucking nigga sleep at night. Don't let him hit. There will be no rest for the wicked. However, we understand how difficult it was trying to come into terms of who we are. We didn't want to be forced. And so, you know, we move according to our own time. Now, if a gentleman has done some ill shit to you, by all means, tell his business. By all means, tell that nigga's business, because he ain't gonna steal my pocketbook and go home and get in his bed like he ain't long dick me last week. He's not gonna do that. But if he's a gentleman that's just talking to you, if you're a trans woman, that's what you are. This is T.S. Madison.
All right, so I feel like that it's all need to be said. I said what I said, and they said what they said. So I like hearing from the dolls. I like hearing from the people in regards to like all the different nuances and conversations regarding this very subject, which we definitely need to talk a lot about more about, because there's this whole situation. Everybody gets so caught up in like sexuality and homosexuality, like just people. I just don't want to say in 2025 why we still having these conversations about people being uncomfortable with who people sleeping with. So yeah, so. My question is to y'all, do y'all believe Timmy, where Miss Mamas was out here talking about that she made up the whole thing, that it was her homegirl's phone, that it was all this other stuff, he wasn't really talking to me? Child, I'm not buying it, because you know these big girls, and I'm talking about the BossMan DLow shape types, they be the main ones that are going after the dolls. They like them femme queens because he did shape like he got woman body parts. That's what it looked like with the figure, but he just got the little ding-a-ling between his legs. And some of them like that, or some of them like the trans girl, a little something extra, the pre-ops. So they be down with the get down. We know the tea. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that Miss Mama's, that she made it up. She won't allow that sword to protect him, and the money cleared, and you signed the NDA, and you had to go and fall on that sword and lie. I mean, if you did lie, use a mess, and nobody's gonna ever trust you in regards to some of the stuff you said. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Down low, down below. Oh, wait, you said, I remember that story about Hannah for renting a theater and being a bitch to all the staff. Well, it wasn't at my job, because if it was, I wouldn't have cussed out, I would have been fired. But, I would have came back and told, people. And then I would have probably relayed this story years later. A belt she would post it to expose her. Another time, it seemed like he was having a manic episode and was taken to some type of psychiatric hospital. He was crawling like a dog. Maybe it was them drugs, yeah. Wait, did I miss a story which I was talking about? Oh, wait, hold on. Let me go back, because I was like, did I miss some? I felt lost. Like you said, I used to follow Timmy Bandsome almost 5 years ago. Him and Timmy Thick used to troll online, but he always seemed like an attention seeker. He also had a grandma he lived with that used to hit him with, that's what he was about, the belt and all the other stuff. I remember that story about, oh yeah. So it could be that maybe Miss Mamas is not all the way right in the head, and she's an attention seeker. So there could be some truth to that. outing people is so wrong, in my opinion. There is no upside to it. It just comes across as unnecessarily messy and cringy. Absolutely. I don't like the whole outing thing. But like I said, unless they out here trying to double dip and they treating you like crap and talking shit about the trans community or the queer or the gay community, then I feel like, okay, I'm outing. I'm like, I know you wasn't talking because I was literally clapping them cheeks last night. Not the DLow community, okay? Politicians can be outed, especially if they're putting in. Absolutely, and those are the main ones I've been thinking about. Yes, Lady G and not Lady Gaga. We talking about Lindsey Graham. That's what you talking about. That old Southern Belle. Not, you said not to mention that you could be putting your life in danger. Absolutely, what they were talking about, and there have been people who have lost their lives for doing that, or out of fear that they will be exposed. We've heard so many stories about that where it's like you was out there seeking out sex with someone who is trans. We heard so many stories. Like even if you look at Paris is Burning or things of that nature, it's like you go with these hookups in a hotel, and a lot of the girls wound up dead back in the day. Venus Extravaganza being the most famous one. My first comment was removed, but I was talking about. Oh yeah, I think I saw the I scrolled back up of the clip. I mean of what you was talking about because I was like, wait a minute, did I miss something? Speaking of TS, how do you like her podcast so far? Basically, I haven't sat and watched the full episodes. I watched the clips. I like it. It's a different side of her, I feel. I mean, even though she'd be up in their cousin. But, and I saw like the behind the scenes one where she was cussing with Miss Tina. And people getting mad at her because she was cussing with, you think Tina Knowles ain't heard curses or curse herself off camera? So, I like what I saw so far. I like when she was having a little conversation with Chapel Roan and Sasha Colby, and I want to see the new one. She has one with Wayne Brady that's supposed to be. I've seen the clips of that online, but I like it because I feel like it's a different side of her. It's like, yeah, you're showing a different side of yourself from fag talk and all the other stuff that you. Fag talk, she can be as filtered and as messy as she wants, but Outlaws is just a different show. So kudos to her. Okay, so we got some bad news coming out of the world of Drag Race. So let's get into that. So apparently there was someone by the name of AJ Bediako, who was an OG pit crew member on Drag Race UK, has passed away. So AJ Bediako, one of the original pit crew members of RuPaul's Drag Race UK, is reportedly dead, according to a statement shared by his teammates at the London Knights Basketball Club, a gay and inclusive basketball club in the UK. They said a statement posted on social media that he had died. Bediako, an actor, fitness coach, and personal trainer, appeared on 3 episodes of Drag Race UK Season 1 as one of the OG Brit crew members. And that's why I really don't remember him. But I feel like because he was a part of the Drag Race family, we could talk about it. But yeah, I was like, I don't really remember Drag Race, the first season of Drag Race UK. I mean, all the other ones later on, yes, because we're oversaturated with a lot of Drag Race. But yeah, I don't really remember him, but we're going to do the story anyway. So then it said the Brit crew are the Drag Race UK's version of the famous pit crew who appear on episodes of Drag Race to assist the competitors with mini and maxi challenges. Bediako appeared in episodes 2, 5, and 6 of the season, which was eventually won by the Vivian, who passed away in January this year. And they said, we're heartbroken to share the news of the passing of our teammate, friend, and much loved member of our community, or our family, AJ. This was a statement from London Knights Basketball Club reads. So I do have, we'll get back to the rest of it, but there was like this It Gets Better for the UK video that he did that I wanted to play that for a second. And so we'll play that and then we'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold.
I grew up in a church and everybody knew everyone. I had an inkling that I was different to other people. I knew I was attracted to guys. Around the time of YouTube popping up, that's when I started to get more information about different lifestyles. And I never fitted in. I fitted in everywhere, and that's why I didn't fit in. It did get better. I have 2 older brothers. I love them dearly. I came out to the middle one. I'm really proud of him for how much he's grown in his understanding. I feel like it's brought us so much closer. I decided to take a media course. eventually a bunch of friends that I did make, a lot of them are still my friends to this day. That was kind of the beginning of it getting better, because I had people that were not judging me, that loved me for who I was. They loved me because I was AJ. They loved me for who I was as a person. Even if you feel like people do not love you right now, there will always be people that love you. You are perfect the way you are. You need to know why you feel the way you feel. You need to know it's normal. You need to know when you step out into the gay community, what things are going to be ahead of you. I just want you guys to know as well that it gets better. It gets better. Hi, I'm AJ.
It's funny how like with the Brits, yeah, it's like it gets better, it gets better. So I always say that, like, especially when you're someone who's struggling and trying to come to terms with your sexuality, the one thing you should always try to do is find your tribe. And that was something that AJ sought out to do and was able to do. And you know what? Luckily, you came up at a time where there was social media, because with me coming out as a homosexual in the late 90s into the 2000s, we ain't really had internet like that. So we had to actually go out and I had friends. Luckily, I had a friend that I had known who was also gay, but I don't think we kind of spoke. I think we kind of just like, we was here with that. And I was like 12 and he was 11, and we had grown up, and pretty much like once we went through high school and everything together, then I got introduced into this world of adulting and all this other stuff, and got to try to navigate through this world with having the right people falling into my life that mentored me and looked after me, and I was able to find my tribe. But it's not easy doing that when it's pre-internet, where you got to actually go to bookstores and read things, or you discovering things, or you winding up in bed with some older men. And you live and you learn as you go, you know, as you progress in life. But for the most part, it's like, I'm glad, like, you younger, this new generation, I got it way easier. That there's so many outlets and platforms and things that you can look into that could pretty much help you get to where you need to go with, you know, trying to figure out your sexual orientation. I mean, unfortunately, we're in a shitty administration that we're in now, where they're trying to roll back a lot of, you know, outlets for young queer people who are struggling with their sexuality to have like, what is like those 1-800 lines or whatever the case is. So like, there's still a little bit of, it's a little rough out here in the streets, but it's just, you know, just know like he said, it gets better. But to finish off what they said, because in this post, I don't think I read the full post before I went to the clip. It said that AJ was a core part of the London Nights. His uplifting energy, constant support, and beaming smile lit up every room he walked into. In his role as club secretary, he gave so much to our community and played a huge part in shaping our club into the place that it is today. His passing leaves a huge hole in our club and in our lives. Last night at training, we came together to remember AJ and hold space for each other. We sent our deepest condolences to his family, his partner Gabe, our teammates, his friends, and everyone who was lucky enough to know him. Rest in peace, AJ. You will be missed immensely, and you will always be part of the Nights. So it would be nice to know like what it was that he passed from, but I'm sure like down the road we will you know, we'll know exactly what he passed away from. And well, if they're willing to let us know. And then one of the things I also like is that this is something that you see a different side of, that. Yeah, you could be queer. I know it might be surprising to some of y'all. You could be a queer person and also like sports. You know, not all of us like dressing in drag and doing the hula. That was from The Lion King. And, you know, doing hair and makeup and all that other stuff. Not a lot of us work in those stereotypical spaces. There are some gay men who just so happen to love sports. And it clearly showed that he loves basketball. I have a lot of friends that are in like leagues and things. Like I have a friend who plays in a softball league. He can't right now because he had to recently get surgery. So he's going to be out of commission for a while. So, but yeah, I have a lot of friends who are like athletes and get into who are like into like the like I said, softball leagues. I think boxers, you know, the gay sports bar, I think they have a league. So yeah, there's a lot of things that go on well in New York. I don't know about other places, but in New York, we definitely have a lot of like softball leagues and things of that nature, flag ball, that stuff. So shout out to you, AJ, and RIP. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding AJ passing away, one of the original pit crew members from Drag Race UK? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Onyx says someone pointed out how they have no international franchises air this year so far. It's just been the American seasons. It's been a little dry over there at World of Wonder. So I do agree with that. Not season 1 being cursed. Oh, because of the Vivian, right? You said, oh my gosh, not him. He was the one that came to mind when I thought UK picked. Oh, damn. You said, I remember him from the boxes or briefs mini challenges or challenge. You said all different sorts of gays. I love it. Me too. That's why I said, I actually did read XY, and I had the magazine where Colton Haynes was in. Remember when he was on the cover of that magazine back in the day? Remember when I used to have to go when I went into the stores or whatever, and you were one of those that you wasn't 110% comfortable with being a homosexual yet, so you would take one magazine and put it inside the other magazine to make it look like you was reading that magazine, but you was really looking at the gay magazines. I did that with the gay magazines, and I did it with the porn, and XY was one of them. I used to read XY. Child, that took me back. But anyway, all right. So now, speaking of drag, let's get into this story. So yesterday we talked about Drag King, or King of Drag, sorry, because Tenderoni was talking about like the show and all that other stuff and what people can expect. Well, guess what? Not even, or might have been 24 hours later, and we already got a list of the kings who are set to compete, and there's about 10 of them, on the new series King of Drag, which is going to be on the Reverie Network. So TV's Royal Court of Drag Entertainers, ruled by RuPaul's Drag Race and the Boulet Brothers Dragula, is about to get a king-size shot of adrenaline. One shot of adrenaline. Okay, let me stop. As entertainment week, because I can do that whole damn song. The other sidebar, before I get to the rest of the story, I was watching this Instagram video of Lux Noir London doing that song of adrenaline. She had like she did a split. I think it was like outside where there was like a pool and stuff. It was cute. But anyway, so let's back into it. But you already know, Entertainment Weekly always tends to get the exclusives when it comes to, the drag stuff. And they got the exclusive with who's going to be on here. So yeah, EW can exclusively reveal the King of Drag cast of contestants set to headline television's first all-drag king competition series. Beginning this summer on LGBTQ network Reverie. I might actually want to hit them up and put together a show. 10 drag kings will join King of Drag host, Somebody Somewhere actor, and iconic drag king Murray Hill across a 6-episode competition highlighting some of the world's best drag king performers. Speaking of Murray Hill, I think that my friend Daniel Nardicio has an event coming up that he put together that Murray Hill is going to be a part of. In addition to the 10 drag king contestants joining the series, Hill will welcome a wealth of both permanent and guest judges. The full-time judging panel includes Drag Race Season 9 winner Sasha Velour, Drag Race Season 13 and All Stars 9 competitor Got Mick, Drag Kings Tenderoni and Wayne Newton, and Reverie CEO Damian Pelliccione. Guest judges include Drag Race Season 4 star Carmen Carrera, actress Lisa Renner. Well, Carmen Carrera, I think, has she does another show on there. Isn't that what's the name of that show? Is it called Drag Latina or something or another? I think she does. She's the host of that. Actress Lisa Renner, Bridesmaids director Paul Feig, Tony nominee Cole Escola, and Hill's fellow Somebody Somewhere stars Bridget Everett and Jeff Hiller. They said they're young and excited. This is what Hill said of the series at April's Queer Tease event. I said this in the last scene of the TV show. I never imagined that we'd get here and that we greenlit. There's hope in this darkness. All 10 contestants will represent drag while promoting inclusion, authentic self-expression, and diverse gender identities as part of their acts, said Pelliccioni in a statement. We can't wait to give the drag completion format a run for, wait, is it drag completion or drag competition? I think that's what they meant. So we'll go with that. We'll say we can't wait to give the drag competition format a run for its money with something fresh and original. King of Drag premieres on June 22nd at 9 p.m., 6 p.m. Pacific time, well, Eastern time, 9 p.m., 6 p.m. Pacific time on Reverie. And then they also have the trailer, which I forgot to include in my article. But it's linked on the Entertainment Weekly page if y'all want to check that out. So yeah, so now we have the list of kings, and I'm so used to saying queens. So let's get to our first one, and that is Alexander the Great. Now the official bio reads, here to conquer the binary and your hearts in this gravity-defying aerial acrobatic king from Austin, Texas. Our next king is Big D, which their official bio reads, she's an avalanche of questionable makeup choices in the body of a middle-aged mom who fancies herself a Jello artiste. And you want to know something? When you go and say middle-aged mom, I love the fact that they have somebody on here that's actually middle-aged that's competing, because we keep seeing, even though I don't agree with it, like, look, I'm living for Nicole Page Brooks being on All Stars because she is an icon and a veteran in the drag game, her and Phoenix. But I do feel like Drag Race is starting to teeter a bit on the youth side. And it's like, yeah, it's cute or whatever that you got a lot of these people that grew up on Drag Race being on it. And I guess Rue enjoys being the oldest queen on the damn show. But for the most part, it's like, why can't you have those people that's been doing drag for 25, 30 years going up against queens that have been doing it for under 10? Like, why can't we have that? We need to bring that back. Hell, I like to see y'all do a all-star season where it's like the OGs against the newbies. Why not? They did it with the challenge. So yeah, that was Big D. Our next king is not to be confused with Buck Wild over there at Flavor of Love, but this is the other Buck Wild, where their bio reads, Buck is a smooth Latin drag king with switchblade sharp teeth, dedicated to bringing drag to a wider audience, one can of pomade at a time. Okay, because I was like, am I reading that wrong? And then so it's giving Dracula realness. Okay, so then we have excuse me, our next king is Charles Galen King. Excuse me. Where thereby reads, she's a creature of contorted facial expressions who brings weird creepiness and warmth to the stage. Okay, first of all, this next name is clever as fuck. Dick Von Dyke. So now, their bio reads, a band kid who discovered drag to win the star roles he was never allowed to play. He's ready for his close-up, or a dick pic, if you will. Then we have Henlo Bullfrog, which is our next post. And their bio reads, known for his unhinged stagecraft, Henlo's expert at airbrush, SFX, and character lore, and his work has appeared on Skin Wars and RuPaul's Drag Race. And Skin Wars, wasn't that the show that RuPaul was hosting at one point? I did like Skin Wars. I also liked oh my god, what was that other show? Face Off. That was the other show that I loved. I love that damn show when it was on. I kind of wish they would revive it and bring it back, because I always love when they did like the special effects work and stuff over there with that show. But anyway, let's move on and let's get into our next king, who is none other than King Molasses. And their bio reads, for them, drag is a practice of mindfulness, a return to spirit, and a testament to the audacity to create images of self-liberation. And then, okay, here's another one with another clever name. King Percocet. I was like, you know what? I'm living for a lot of these. Why are these drag king names way more clever than the drag queen names that we've heard? Now, King Percocet, that is clever. A little funny. You know, I love a pun. So their bio reads, come for the comedy and stay for the social commentary and dad jokes. It said King is also famous for his tag them joke meme. And then we have our next king is Pressure K. Pressure K doesn't follow trends. He sets the tempo. If confidence was currency, Pressure K was always stays paid. And then last, but certainly not least, because we got our 10th and final king. Hold on. I was like, is the picture okay? It's acting up. Let me see if it's not working. Let me just go to the other thing, and that'll be here. This is, let me scroll on up. That's tuna melt. Because I don't know why all of a sudden it wants to, act a damn fool. But sometimes this thing be doing what it does. But anyway, so yeah, let's get to tuna melt. Now, tuna melt is live from New York. This stanky but delicious melt with a belt is for all of the altos you've known deep down they were tenors. So there you have it. I probably should have just been scrolling down during the thing so that way y'all could just see the thing, because it looks way better here than it was in that smaller format. Okay, so yeah, there's your kings. As I stated earlier, the show airs June 22nd at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific on Reverie. I'm definitely curious to see what this show is going to give, and I want to hear from you. So what do you guys think? Are you excited over this new King of Drag cast? I definitely need to see more. I didn't even get to see the trailer, so I have to check out the trailer and all this other stuff, but I'm sure, anytime there's a new type of show, a new type of competition show, sidebar, what is going on with that Willem series that you're supposed to be doing with the strippers with Raheem Shabazz as a judge? I need to find, when we going to get that dropping? It'd be funny if I asked this and then an hour or maybe a day later, the damn trailer drops for that. Because usually when I say stuff out in the universe, it just so happens to fall in our life. Just like yesterday when I said about King of Drag, I'm like, when we going to get the trailer? And then when we going to find out who the kings are? And then literally today I wake up and see that Entertainment Weekly done dropped the story. So I definitely want to hear from y'all in regards to this story. So y'all know what to do. Let me know in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's move on to our final topic, and let's get into Austin Wolf. So I don't know if y'all should be surprised by this whole situation, but the latest on Austin Wolf is funny. Luigi Mangione, I believe his trial starts at the end of this year. Diddy is currently in the midst of his trial. He's like, what? Is this the second or the third week? I can't keep track. This shit gonna be going on a while. But Diddy is currently in the midst of his trial, which I'm sure that his people gonna be asking Trump for a pardon, like he did NBA Youngboy and the Chris Lees and all these other idiots. So yeah, now we got Austin Wolf was granted, as you could read in the headline, another 30-day continuance in the case against, himself, whose legal name is Justin Heath Smith. The new deadline for the indictment of preliminary hearing is now June 27th, which is literally a day shy for when he was actually put in prison. So yeah, the 28th of June of last year was when he was put in handcuffs and was put in jail. So literally next month, when they come up with this whole situation, and there'll probably be another situation where he's granted a 12th constituents. So yeah. So they said the new deadline for the indictment preliminary hearing, blah, 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 blah. According to the court documents, prosecutors and defense attorneys, Michael Baldassar. Okay, that's what, because I was like, am I reading that right? Michael Baldassar and Thomas Andrikovitz are continuing to negotiate a possible plea deal. Assistant U.S. Attorney Getzel Berger stated in the filing that the defense consented to the extension. The judge agreed that the delay best serves the ends of justice and outweighs the best interests of the public and the defendant in a speedy trial. Well, shit, the way y'all going ain't never gonna be a damn speedy trial. Y'all taking 8 damn years to get all this down. And so, oh damn, I was like, is this the same one? Is this the paperwork that we had before? What we went through? Hold on. Yeah, there was some. I think this is the article that I read the last time. on the show where we was basically talking about. Oh wait, hold on, because what it says is that it is further found that. Oh, maybe that didn't read this. Upon the application of the United States of America and the affirmation of Getzelberger, Assistant U.S. State's Attorney for the Southern District of New York, it is found that the defendant was charged in a complaint with violations of 18 U.S.C. Blah, 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 blah. It is further found that the defendant was presented before Magistrate Judge Tarnowski in the district on June 28, 2024. It further found that on June 23rd, 2024, Magistrate Judge Valerie Figueredo, I think, into the order of continuance pursuant to Rule 5, except at the time within which the preliminary hearing would have to be conducted or an indictment or information would have to be filed in this case. God, y'all taking forever with this damn thing. But I was trying to read if there was any because y'all been doing so many damn preliminary hearings, but I don't think it's really saying anything that we don't already know. And I was like, I ain't going through this again. So yeah, that's the latest. One more time, let's look at Austin Wolf and that because I'm sure he don't look like that no more behind bars. But we want to know what's the tea. What's going on? Or is Austin still alive? Or is he like that gay man that was locked up over there in El Salvador? Like, we haven't heard nothing about Austin Wolf. We don't know if he's still breathing. We don't know what's the tea. Because we already saw, like, there was one video that I had saw where somebody showed that the apartment that he lived in Chelsea was up for sale. So he ain't living there no more. I wonder who bought it or if somebody bought it. But yeah, that's the latest on Austin Wolf. There's really nothing to add to this situation. All is just that the latest news is he was granted yet another continuance. It's literally just been stretched out for you. I've never seen something like this happen. I believe that I've had people in the comments who have explained this whole thing before, but look, have at it. Put it in the comments. Because I'm like, this is crazy at this point. Like, what else can y'all possibly negotiate? It should not take y'all, I don't think, in my opinion, it should not take y'all a year to come to some type of, some type of resolution on whatever it is they're going to talk about in the trial, especially when y'all say that y'all have all this evidence against him. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Child, this is at this point, if the FBI doesn't get an arrest, random question, any big plans for Pride Month? Not really. Probably, well, I don't know. You know what? Funny enough, this might be the perfect time to be going out and doing stuff for Pride anyway, especially because with this current administration, how they've been treating a lot of people, and they're talking about that there's a lot of organizations that have dropped out and don't want to donate money. I'm like, okay, so we don't care. If you don't want to give money and donate to the community, that's great. What people seem to forget is that before Chase and all these other organizations threw themselves onto jumping on the bandwagon because the queer community has a disposable income, Pride was a riot. It started as a riot. Hence the whole, Stonewall and all that other stuff. Like, it wasn't even about, oh, look, Disney accepts us. Oh, look, this restaurant and this corporation and that corporation accepts us. It's like, if y'all want to come aboard and support us, that's great. But we shouldn't be beholden to these corporations in order for us to have whatever we have. We could still go out. We could still support the nightlife scene. Those gay clubs that we have, those restaurants that still keep their pride flags out. And there's quite a few in New York City where they have their flags out and they don't put them out on no damn June 1st. They've been out for all year round. So support those companies, support those restaurants, and support those who support us. And screw those people. But I'm thinking, like, yeah, I need to go out and do some stuff. So I need to see, like, how my weekend's going to be. And then I'm like, I might go out to Queensborough. I'm sure I will run into a lot of y'all. But I'm going to try not to get as pissy drunk as I did last season. Because one of my friends was like, oh, I saw you and I said hi. And I was like, how was I? Because literally when I blacked out. I don't know how I made it home the way I made it home. I think at one point I was at 71st Continental on the subway platform on the bench, and I think I passed out. And I do remember there was a time that I did throw up on the train, and I got embarrassed and got off because I drank too much. People was giving me drinks, so If you're gonna give me a drink, I'm gonna take it. He may not get a plea deal. Like, what sort of deal would that look like? Maybe trying to find a way, I guess, to get out of it. And it could be that I do think that he might be trying to drop names, but I just wish they would just hurry up and wrap this thing up, because I'm tired of, like, every month when it comes out around that time, it's literally, I've been reporting the same freaking thing over again. And at this point, I can't even try to get creative with trying to extend the story. It's just like 30-second story. Austin Wolf done extended it. Let's move on. Like, it's like, it's nothing I can do at this point. He said, I'm going to Stonewall Festival in Wilton Manors. It's the only Pride Fest I'll get to do since I'm saving money for my cruise. That's another thing too, is like, you don't want to be out here like spending too much damn money. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, I need to go to the store, I need to buy liquor, some juice, I need to pregame, take the drinks with me when I'm out and about, like freeze them up. And then when I get to the, you know, certain places, I'll go and I'll just be making my own little concoction. And then if I happen to just because my friend Josie, who's a trans girl, I know one time she was giving me shots of the brown liquor, and bitch, I lost all sense of who I was after. She kept plowing me with shots, and I'm like, I should not be doing this. Especially when I did that and I was drinking beer and all that other stuff. So I was thinking, I was like, yeah, I mean, Wilton Manors, I got a lot of friends that live out there. One of my friends who makes adult cinematography, Alex Tikas, I did interview him on the show. He lives in Wilton Manors. Also, another friend of mine, Brian, who used to plow me with a lot of drinks back when he worked at the Cock in the city, Brian Maselli. He lives in Wilton Manors. Like, a lot of people that moved out there. I was like, if there was any part of Florida I would move to, it would probably be that one. All the other parts of Florida, hell no. I wonder who he's on. That's what I want to know. Last time I blacked out, I woke up in my... Ooh. Oh, you don't want to do that. Because then the worst parts of ourselves come out when we black out. Yeah, the first time I saw Pride merch at Disney was in 2018. First of all, there was some I saw at Walmart. I think they had some Pride shirts. And I was like, oh, those are cute. And, you know, people was up in there just up in arms. I'm like, okay, so if you got a problem with Pride shirts, don't buy one. But people have a right to be represented. And the kids. So you don't think this kid's going to turn out to be gay? And when you're LGBT, it's not, we don't recruit people like y'all are Scientologists or Jehovah's Witness. Now, you do that with religion, how y'all indoctrinate and y'all try to turn people out and stuff. You can't do that with being queer. You can't turn somebody out. You either are or you aren't. It sure is. Oh, and thank you for the $2 super chat. I'll promise I'll just spend it all in one place. But anyway, all right, y'all. I knew this was gonna be a long episode because I was like, with all the people in the comments and all, so I was like, yeah, we definitely gonna be 3+ hours. But it's been a while since we did a 3-hour show. But it was worth it because this show was messy. But anyway, I do want to thank you all, excuse me, for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Yes, it's the end. Thank you all for tuning in. If you have not already, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll probably be back on Monday because I'm like, this. Well, if Pride is this Sunday, I might be going to that. I just have to check because I don't know when. Yes, chismosa. So, and then tomorrow and Saturday I'm gonna be busy. So yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can come back on. If not, I will see y'all on Monday. As I said before, love you all for watching. Thank you all for continuously supporting this messy show. Hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff, and love you all. Love you, love. And until next time, ciao, darlings.